Thank the choir for doing the extra selection. Even though I don't know how they did the first two in 10 minutes. Usually I have them timed. They tricked me this time. I'm talking to Tio. I'm outside. He said, they finished the second song. I said, what? But I always have a hard time when I try to do this, do a lot of history to provide it for everybody. Because where I come from, we just read it and you wouldn't read along, but I like to try to have it where you can read along with it. And we still have some problems, some technical issues, so they're trying to print them up now, so you should get the history that's going to go with the lesson. But again, praise the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and peace to everybody that's here in the name of Jesus. And peace to everybody that might be on the line and on the internet viewing us. Like I said, we got history. This is basically dealing with a history lesson because the Bible tells you everything you need to know. So we got some history that we're going to read along with the scriptures because that's what we do. We read other books that corroborate the Bible. You have to be careful when you have brothers trying to go to other books to establish something else that they can't find in this book. The Lord gave you everything you need in this book. And even though I know it's some legitimate book somewhere, obviously it ain't necessary because we don't have them in this book. So that's what we'll do. We'll read some history to corroborate what this book is saying. And that's what we're going to do today because the whole thing in a nutshell is coming down to God setting his kingdom up on the earth. We got a little feedback. That's what it's all leading us to, God setting his kingdom up on this earth. And he showed us this so many ways that that's what he's going to do. And this lesson is going to show how he named even the world ruling empires from among the Gentile nations. He named all four of them, it's four, in succession, and then made it plain as the nose on your face that he's going to take over this world after these four Gentiles rule. See, so we know we living in the times of the Gentiles. This is the times of the Gentiles. So it's no accident, it's no coincidence that the Gentiles rule the world. Matter of fact, God gave everybody a chance to rule the world. We had a chance to rule the world. We did a poor job at it. So God is fair. He gave all of Noah's sons a chance to rule the world. That's why the Gentiles rule the world all over. They call the shots, period. Because this is the times of the Gentiles. So that's what we're going to deal with. The title is God's Kingdom Comes After the Times of the Gentiles. Because Jesus told you to pray, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. And that has not taken place yet. His kingdom would not be established on the earth until after the Gentiles' times are fulfilled. And he showed you, there's so many things we can read, we can't read it all in one lesson. But he showed you that when he told Abraham about going to the promised land in the first place when they left Egypt in the old days. That's what the 400 years applied to. It applied to when they left Egypt. But he told them they was going to go to the promised land back then. And he told them they was going to make it in the fourth generation. He said, because back then, this you can read on your own Genesis 15. He said, because the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. In other words, the Lord said, look, I'm going to take y'all to the land, but I gave the Amorites this much space to sin or get it together. And until their iniquity is filled up, it's finished, I can't knock them off. That's how God is. So he said, that's when you're going to go back. You read it on your own Genesis 15. He said, when the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. Well, that's the same thing with the iniquity. You could say the iniquity of the Gentiles. Obviously, it ain't full. He letting them still sin. They getting crazy and crazy, making laws saying you can sin now. So you can see it's running out. And when the Gentiles' time is up, that's when God is going to set his kingdom up. So we're going to start off in Jeremiah, the 25th chapter. God's kingdom comes after the times of the Gentiles. I'm going to point out, too, because you got some brothers that's kind of messed up. They even say, well, you had a guy years ago in the 70s. He went back to Israel like he's setting up the kingdom of God. They even call their organization the kingdom of God. And even some preachers misconstrue a few verses that talk about the kingdom being here. Make it like it's here now. Don't be tripped up by that. The kingdom is not literally here. Spiritually speaking, God got some representatives here. But God's kingdom is not running things now. That's why what we talking about don't nobody understand or know. God is literally going to take over this world and rule forever. And if you understood this right here, you would know that it wouldn't be nobody believing that they're going to go up to heaven if they understood how plain God laid this out here. This is one of the lessons. I was starting to have some faith in God and believe in God. I was believing, but when I understood this, I knew then. I said, boy, this has got to be it. This is it right here. Because he told it before it even happened. Jeremiah 25, God's kingdom comes after the times of the Gentiles. This is when he introduced the Gentiles to the world and started with Israel, because everything is in proximity to Israel, how he deal with Israel. That's what everything is in relationship to in the Bible. God say, Israel only have I known. So everything is in relationship to them. So that's who the Gentiles was ultimately knocking off. They knocked off all the other Shemites that was running stuff. But ultimately, the main one was Israel. God was letting them. Now, God's chosen people is Israel, but he was telling them that, look, I'm getting ready to bring the Gentiles on you. That shows you God will use anybody. That's why it ain't no need to even get mad. Like, you know, black people talking about, well, do you know the white man is, look, God run the world. Maybe God wanted to bust your head for sins, which is what he doing. God in control. He told Israel back here, I'm getting ready to bring the Gentiles on you, mister. Jeremiah 25:1. Go ahead.
The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the people of Judah in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah. That was the 1st year of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon.
See, the Lord about to break it down to him. And this was the 1st year of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, when Jeremiah is telling them this. Go ahead.
The which Jeremiah the prophet spake unto all the people of Judah and to all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, saying.
What did he say?
From the 13th year of Josiah, the son of Ammon, king of Judah, even unto this day, that is the 23rd year, the word of the Lord hath come unto me. And I have spoken unto you, rising early and speaking, but ye have not hearkened.
See, and that's the bottom line. Jeremiah said, I've been preaching. See, people never want to listen to the true preachers. They never want to listen to the true preachers. They like the fairy tales. Well, that's the same way. There was plenty fairy tale preachers in Jeremiah's time. But he was a true preacher. But they didn't want to listen. He said, I've been prophesying. I've been preaching to you all this time during this King Josiah. And I rose early speaking, but ye have not hearkened. Verse 4. Go ahead.
And the Lord hath sent unto you all his servants, the prophets, rising early and sending them. But ye have not hearkened, nor inclined your ear to hear.
Okay, he said, and he sent other prophets besides me. You have not hearkened, nor inclined your ear to hear. Go ahead.
They said, turn ye again now, every one from his evil way.
That's the sound. Okay, it sounds good. Go ahead.
And from the evil of your doing. And dwell in the land that the Lord hath given unto you and to your fathers forever and ever.
He said, look, this is what the prophet's been telling you. Turn from your evil way and from the evil you're doing so you can stay in the land. Israel was in the promised land here, but they was on their way out. And when Israel went out, that basically started the times of the Gentiles. Go ahead.
And go not after other gods to serve them, and to worship them, and provoke me not to anger.
Go ahead.
With the works of your hands, and I will do you no hurt.
People don't realize that God would do you hurt. If you do what he wants you to do, then he said, I won't do you no hurt. But what's the other side of that? If you don't do it, God said, I'm going to hurt you. And he's going to tell him he's going to hurt him. Go ahead.
Yeah, ye have not hearkened unto me.
He said, see, you haven't listened. Go ahead.
That ye might provoke me to anger with the works of your hands to your own hurt.
To your own hurt. Go ahead, verse 8.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, because ye have not heard my words.
Go ahead.
Behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, saith the Lord. And Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant.
You see, now Nebuchadnezzar was not a servant of God in that sense. But that show you God to use anybody. Like some people start talking about, well, you know what, King James, you use the King James. Why was King James was this, he was that, he was gay. I don't care. He was the king. He had authority to authorize the Bible to get translated. And God will use anybody. Who better to use than the one in charge with some authority to make some changes? See, people don't know how God operates. Nebuchadnezzar wasn't a true servant of God, that he believed in God. Matter of fact, when he was coming down to Jerusalem, God even showed you in the Bible how he was dealing with that psychic stuff. It said he looked in the liver. He was, he's consulting his stuff. But the only reason he was successful because the true and living God made him successful. So that's why he called him his servant, because he will use anybody to serve him in a certain capacity. Satan is God's servant in a certain capacity. He don't serve him for good, but he do what God tells him to do. God wants to bust your head. He will send Satan. And Satan will serve God gladly by busting your head. That's what he'll do. He said, behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, saith the Lord. Notice he said in the north, because it's all in proximity to Israel. And Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and what I'm going to do?
And will bring them against this land,
and
against the inhabitants thereof, and against all these nations round about, and will utterly destroy them, and make them an astonishment and a hissing and perpetual desolation.
He said, I'm bringing Nebuchadnezzar on, not just Israel, but all the countries around there that had some little rulership. Now let's go to Jeremiah, the 4th chapter. Back up to Jeremiah 4. Jeremiah 4, and we're going to pick it up at verse 5. Because he said, Nebuchadnezzar, my servant, the king of Babylon, and he used the term, the kingdoms of the north. So he's going to tell us that he had told us this already right here, Jeremiah 4 and verse 5. Go ahead.
Declare ye in Judah and publish in Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
And say, blow ye the trumpet in the land. Cry, gather together, and say, assemble yourselves, and let us go into the defense cities.
See, he was warning them here. He said, look, you better declare it in Judah. Tell, get ready, gird up, get yourself together. You better go hide out in where some defenses at, because I got something coming your way. What do you got coming your way? Verse 6.
Set up the standard towards Zion. Retire, stay not, for I will bring evil from the north and a great destruction.
See, we know what it is. It's Nebuchadnezzar. He just told us that right from the north, right? The king of Babylon. His servant, he said. He said, I will bring evil. People say, God don't bring evil. He don't, when something happens, look, it don't happen unless God let it happen. He might use Satan to do it, but he allowed it. Satan can't do nothing on his own. He said, look, I will bring evil from the north. Again, he said, a great destruction. Verse 7.
The lion has come up from his thicket.
Notice he called him the lion, because this is the symbol for Babylon. He said the lion has come up from his thicket. Go ahead.
And the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way.
And he said the destroyer of the Gentiles. He telling Israel here, get ready. You don't want to listen to me. I'm going to bring the lion out of his thicket. And who is he? The destroyer of the Gentiles. Even brothers nowadays get confused about who the Gentiles are. Some of them try to say when they say Gentile in the Bible, it's really referring to Israel. That is so dumb. That's somebody else. That's what we would call the Europeans. He said the lion has come up from his thicket. The destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way. Get ready. Go ahead.
He has gone forth from his place.
He's gone forth. Nebuchadnezzar was on his way then. Go ahead.
To make thy land desolate. And thy cities shall be laid waste without an inhabitant.
See, and that's what he did. He came and knocked Israel off, took them into captivity. Now, Daniel was one of the ones, he took different groups into captivity. He was one of the ones he took in the beginning. Daniel, the 7th chapter. Go to Daniel 7 now. Daniel 7. See, this began the times of the Gentiles. The Lord showed, even as he was knocking Israel off and giving the Gentiles the authority to rule, he was telling you it was only going to be until a set time. And then I'm going to come back and take over, and his kingdom is going to last forever. Daniel 7:1. Go ahead.
In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed.
See, he had these dreams and these interpretations at different times. This was after Nebuchadnezzar's time was up when he had this one. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon. Because that was his son, or some people say his grandson. Either way, it was his descendant. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matter. So Belshazzar was after his father Nebuchadnezzar. Go ahead.
Verse 2. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another.
See, that's why I told you it's four. But it all started with Nebuchadnezzar and Babylon. That's why when you get to Revelation, he still called it Babylon, because that's where it all began. This is a Gentile dynasty. And the Lord is going to take over the world when their time is up. And it's getting close. So we should be looking for this, but most of the people that go to church, they're looking to fly off to heaven somewhere. When Jesus said, pray thy kingdom come, he talking about coming, you talking about flying off somewhere. You're going to miss him. You're going to be passing by. But you ain't flying nowhere. He said, Daniel had this dream, and he had visions, and he said at verse 3, Daniel 7:3, and four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse from another. These beasts, he's going to tell us what they represent. But we're going to get to the first one, because we've been reading about the first one already. He said, I was bringing Nebuchadnezzar from the north, right? He called him a lion from his thicket, didn't he? Verse 4.
The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings.
See, the first, that's him. Because this when it all began. He told you the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way. Go ahead.
I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man. And a man's heart was given to it.
See, now that represented the first empire, which is Nebuchadnezzar's Babylonian empire. This is what started it all. But he said it's four altogether. So we're going to read through a little more. Go ahead, verse 5.
And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear.
Here's the second one. Go ahead.
And it raised up itself on one side, and it had three ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh.
See? Now the next one is a bear. See, and they still got these symbols today. Even the vestiges of the Roman Empire are still here today. Even America got the eagle, and Britain got the lion as their emblem. Russia still got the emblem of the bear. Still is even referred to as the bear. Because that's who that's talking about. But that's the second world ruling empire from among the Gentiles. Like to a bear, it raised up itself on one side, Because this was a dual kingdom, and we're going to get to that. But now, verse 6, we got to get to 4. Go ahead.
After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it.
Now the third one was a leopard with 4 heads and 4 wings of a fowl. All that's going to come into play. Verse 7.
After this I saw in the night vision, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible.
Now this is the most terrible of them all. The last one. And this is the most important one because he is the one going to be here when the Lord take over. The Lord is going to take over from him. That's why the title is God's kingdom comes after the times of the Gentiles. He's the last one from the Gentiles. He said, and notice, he didn't have an animal. He used a lion with eagle's wings, a bear. He used a leopard with 4 heads and 4 wings of a fowl. And this one, he said, I saw in night vision, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible. He ain't even got no animal to call it. It's so dangerous. He just called it dreadful and terrible. That's it. He didn't use an animal that he created. He said, look, this one, I can't even give you no animal to relate to this one. This one's so rough. And that's why Rome is amazingly still ruling and influencing the world. Why you think the American government got Senate and all that stuff? All that came from Rome. They still ruling the world. That's how dangerous they are. You can't even see. They still got some power. How you think the Roman church got more members than anybody? Because of this right here. So he said, the 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, strong exceedingly. What else did it have?
And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces. And stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it. And it had 10 horns.
It's diverse from all the beasts that were before it. It's different. This beast is something else. But go ahead. And it had 10 horns. But he's not even done with this one yet. And we're going to see exactly what these beasts. So you think you know we're not just talking about some animals. If you don't understand yet, we're not talking about some animals in the forest. Go ahead.
Verse 8. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn. Before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the root.
See, this is important to note. This 4th beast, he dealing with it more in detail. He said it had 10 horns. Then he said, as I considered the horns, I looked and another horn came up. So not only did it have 10 horns, it got another little special horn. He said, behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the root. This little horn is important to remember because that's part of what's kept it alive, the little horn. And it's important because some brothers messing this up now, saying, you know, they messing up Daniel 8, saying the little horn is somebody else from the Greek Empire. No, the little horn came out of the 4th one. That's the only time they talk about a little horn. It come out of the 4th empire. Just telling us right here, right? Verse 7 said, he behold a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, iron teeth, stamped the residue, different from all the beasts, which we're going to find out their kingdoms, before it. And as I saw the horns, a little horn came up. So this is the 4th empire. Go ahead.
And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and mouth speaking great things.
See, this horn is something else. Horns generally represent kings in the Bible. But this king is something else. He looked civil than the average king. He looked more civil because this little horn is a religious king. That's how he got his power, through religion. He ain't like no other king. He got it through religion. It's all based on religion. How do you think Vatican City, what's that all about? Hey, it's a religious state ran by the papacy. The king is the Pope, the top religious figure in the world. That's what he means. He got horns in his horn, with eyes like the eyes of a man, this little horn, and a mouth speaking great things. Because he's even speaking with authority against the Most High. Go ahead, verse 9.
I beheld till the thrones were cast down.
Now Daniel said, I saw this thing all the way to these thrones were cast down, because this is where we getting to. The Lord gonna set a throne up. He gonna set a kingdom up on this earth that's gonna reign forever, brothers and sisters. That's what it's all about. But he showed you each step of the way until it was time for his throne to come. He said, I beheld till the thrones were cast down. Go ahead.
And the Ancient of Days did sit.
See, the Ancient of Days, that's the Lord himself. Go ahead.
Whose garment was white as snow,
Uh-huh.
and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame,
Uh-huh.
and his wheels as burning fire.
Okay, skip down now to verse 17. Verse 17, because we're going to get some interpretation of these beasts that we just been reading about. We saw it's 4, but go ahead.
These great beasts which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth.
See, that's what they are. 4 kings, or you could say kingdoms in this case. But they say kings because it's really, the Lord looking at it as a whole. It's one kingdom. The earth is the kingdom, and it's ruled over by 4 different nations. Started with Nebuchadnezzar and Babylon. So that's why he worded that way. He said, these great beasts, we just saw them. What were they? A lion with eagle's wings, a bear with ribs in his mouth, a leopard with 4 heads and 4 wings of a fowl, and a dreadful and terrible beast with a little horn, with 10 horns and a little horn. That's the 4. But what are they again? Verse 17? Read 17 again.
These great beasts which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth.
Arise out of the earth. That's where they're going to be at. Not up in heaven somewhere. See, this throw out the window, you going to heaven, brothers and sisters. These 4 are 4 kings that's going to rise out of the earth. Then what?
But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom.
But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. So the kingdom the saints going to possess is in the earth, isn't it? It's right here. The saints shouldn't be thinking they're going to heaven. He said these 4 kingdoms going to rule the earth. And then after that's done, that's why the title is God's kingdom comes after the times of the Gentiles. See, these 4 represent the times of the Gentiles. That's why he said the Gentile is on his way. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. How long they going to have it?
And possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
And they going to possess it forever. But where's the kingdom at? In the earth. Go to Daniel 2 now. Because prior to Daniel 7, he had an emergency where he had to get some information from the Lord, because Daniel was about to get killed, because Nebuchadnezzar wanted to know the answer to this question. And it's about what we're dealing with today. The Lord had put it on Nebuchadnezzar's mind, and he knew God was telling him something, and he demanded that all these so-called philosophers and wise people, all the preachers and everybody, he said, y'all better tell me something. He was upset. He said, look, God is messing with me, and you better tell me something, or else I'm going to kill all y'all. He was serious. And so Daniel, he had to call the emergency meeting, fast and everything. He said, we got to have a meeting, because this dude is crazy. He about to kill us all. And, of course, Daniel then was going to be the first so-called wise men to die, because they the slaves. Daniel 2:1. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Daniel 2. Yeah, stop picking at 1. Go ahead.
And in the 2nd year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. See, people don't know the spirit means different things. This just means spirit. The spirit is your mind, his thoughts. He had trouble. He couldn't even get no sleep. That's when your spirit is troubled. See, we think spirit always means what God give to you. No, that's what Nebuchadnezzar needed. His spirit wouldn't have been troubled, because he would have understood it like Daniel found out. So he said, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams wherewith his spirit was troubled. Go ahead. And his sleep brake from him.
And his sleep brake from him. That means he couldn't get none. Go ahead.
Then the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers.
See, all these so-called, you got them around here to this day. They just play around until times get hard, then they don't have no answers. See, when it ain't on the line, you can just fake it. And that's what all these preachers and astrologers doing. They just faking it. Notice they always get up like bad stuff happening because you lying to people, telling them you with God and it's going to be good, and kids getting shot down in the street. So every now and then they had to put on a front and like they're going to go march and they're going to do something, but you ain't did nothing yet. You go out there and march, you still get shot down. Because you ain't telling the people the right thing in the first place. Well, that's what happened here. These people, he went to them. It said, verse 2, then the king commanded to call the magicians, the astrologers, the sorcerers. Go ahead, who else?
And the Chaldeans.
And the Chaldeans. He said, anybody that's supposed to know something, I want you to show up. Go ahead.
For to show the king his dream.
Uh-huh.
So they came and stood before the king.
Now they all stood, like going to stand before the president. Like the president got something really on his mind. He want an answer, and he want it now. He'd call all the people supposed to know something. See, the Lord know how to affect you. Times get hard, you call anybody. They might be calling us up. Go ahead.
And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream.
See, he had a dream, and he said, my spirit is troubled to know the dream. Go ahead.
Then spake the Chaldeans to the king of Syria, O king, live forever. Tell thy servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation.
See, he wasn't even going to, that wasn't going to work with this, because he knew this was serious, and he couldn't even remember, and he knew they wasn't going to do nothing, because you could make up something. You know, somebody could tell me a dream. I can say, oh, yeah, that means something. So you don't know. You don't know. But, so he said, look, what you need to do is you need to tell me the dream I had. And they was like, you tripping now. Ain't no way we can do that. But if you working for God, you can still do that, right? So they said, tell your servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation. Verse 5.
The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, the thing is gone from me.
He said, look, I done forgot it, and I'm not playing with you. Let's make one thing clear. Go ahead. The thing is gone from me. Go ahead.
If ye will not make known unto me the dream with the interpretation thereof, ye shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill.
He was serious, wasn't he? The Lord had put something on his mind for real. The Lord to do that, boy. You can't get no sleep. The Lord dealing with you. He said, look, the thing is gone from me. And if you don't tell me not the interpretation, I don't just want to know that. I didn't forget the dream, but I know I need to know it. You got to tell me the dream I had and what it means. Because he knew, he said, if you can tell me the dream, I know you can tell me what it means. I know you working for somebody that knows something. He said, but if you don't make known the dream and the interpretation, this is what I decree for you. You're going to be cut in pieces, and I'm going to make your house where they use the washroom at. A dunghill. But now, obviously, they couldn't do it. So he went, he went to the top dogs first. Just like I imagine if we say Barack had a dream, the president, and he couldn't figure something out, he wouldn't. We wouldn't be the first people on his list to call. Just face it. He gonna call some of the other people first. But when they can't show him, anybody that come up and said, "Look, I can show you," I bet you he'll listen. So that's what happened. Nobody couldn't show him, but before he even got to listen to somebody else, he said, "Look, okay, y'all getting ready to die." And notice what happened. Skip down to verse 16 because they went first to Daniel and them. Daniel didn't even know what was going on. Now, they ain't asked Daniel nothing, but when it come to killing, you first in line. He said, what's going on? And so the guy told him, he said, look, y'all getting ready to die because, the king want this dream told and can't nobody tell him. Daniel didn't even know. He had to ask him, man, what's happening? Why is it so urgent? So then he did this, verse 16.
Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time, and that he would show the king the interpretation. See, now
Daniel spoke with some wind. He said, hold up. I didn't know it was this serious. Give me a little time, and I'm going to show it to you. Go ahead.
Then Daniel went to his house
Uh-huh.
and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions.
See, he went home. He had to tell them. He said, look, we got to do some praying and fasting quick. They getting ready to have our head on the platter, and we didn't even know it. So he went and told his 3 companions. It said Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, which they had slave names. Most people heard them as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. That showed you they were slaves in Babylon, because that's the new names that they got. But go ahead. He told his 3 companions, verse 18.
That they would desire mercies of the God of heaven concerning this secret. That Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon.
See, they was about to perish. This was an urgent matter. Daniel said, we got to seek the Lord, and now. Go ahead. Let's show you how the Lord will put you in a situation, too. See, Daniel didn't know exactly. He didn't even know the dream yet. See, the people in the Bible, they had to deal with regular life. Like, some people think they was like special. Look, Daniel's life was on the line. He had to go do some praying quick to get some answers. He said that they would desire mercies of the God of heaven concerning what?
Then was a secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven.
See, Daniel started praising the Lord. They sought the Lord, and it was revealed to him. Now, that's going to shock Nebuchadnezzar. He probably gave up. But it was revealed to him, not just what something means, but even the dream that he had. Skip down now to verse 27 and go ahead, because now he's going to go in and tell him. Go ahead.
Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, The secret which the king have demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king?
Now, and that wasn't a question. That was a statement. Daniel said, you know the secret you wanted? I'm going to tell you something. All your little false hunchos over here, they can't show it to you. They ain't got no understanding like this. He put his little 2 cents in. Now, he said, I'm going to tell you something. The secret that the king asked your wise men that you demanded, cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king? They can't show it to you, king. But what? Verse 28, somebody can, and he wasn't taking all the credit. He going to get a credit where the credit belongs. Go ahead, 28.
But there is a God in heaven.
He said, look, it's a God in heaven, and that's the one Daniel was working for. Go ahead.
That revealeth secrets and maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the later days. Thy dream and the visions of thy head upon the bed are these.
See, he said, God in heaven is showing you what's going on. And that's where I got it from. God in heaven is trying to show you what's going to befall happen in a lot of days, right? Go ahead, verse 29. And then he said, now I'm going to tell it to you. But before I tell him, I'm going to make one more statement. Go ahead.
As for thee, O king, thy thoughts came into thy mind upon thy bed, what shall come to pass hereafter. And he that revealeth secrets maketh known to thee what shall come to pass.
He telling him what he was thinking about. He said, you was thinking about what's going to happen in the future. And the one that maketh known is showing you what's going to happen in the future. Go ahead, verse 30.
But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom, that I have more than any living.
See, he said, look, and it ain't revealed to me just like I'm so wise. It's revealed to me, but I'm going to tell you really why it's revealed. Why? Why is all this here anyway? Why do God got all this in the Bible? He going to tell us. Go ahead.
But for their sakes.
But for their sakes. What sakes? He said, but as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom, that I have more than any living, but for their sake. But for whose sake? For the living sake. See, it's for our sake that it's written here. Because now we understand. It wasn't even for Daniel to really get a good grasp on, because it was bringing us down to the end. He wasn't even going to be around to see all the kingdoms come through. But it's for the people living at that time. God is revealing to us what's going on. But for their sakes, that what?
That shall make known the interpretation to the king. And that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart.
Go ahead.
Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image.
Now he's going to break it down. He said, this is what you dreamed, king. You saw a great image. Go ahead.
This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's hair was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay.
See, now he gave him basically a huge statue. He said, you saw a great image in the likeness of a man. And he said, this image, his brightness, his excellence stood before thee, and the form was terrible, a menacing image. He said, then he started to break down the different parts of the image. Verse 32, the image's head was of fine gold. That's the top. That's where it's starting at, right at the head. It's a fine gold, a head of gold. Don't get no better than that. Go ahead. And then he said, 32, he said, and his arms and belly, and his arms, his breast and his arms are silver. So his chest and his arms were silver. So he described the image downward. Head of gold, arms, and chest of silver. Which that show you silver is what to gold, inferior. Then he said, and his belly and his thighs are brass. So it's working its way down from the head of gold, belly and thighs of brass. Then verse 33 said, the legs of iron and his feet part of iron and part of clay. It done worked it from head to toe. The legs are strong as iron, though. Then he got the feet thrown in there for good measure, iron and clay. It's not just iron. That's something to keep in mind. 34.
Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet. There were of iron and clay, and break them in pieces.
See, notice where the stone hit the image at, not on the head. Because remember, we're going to see these are the same four kingdoms that we read about in Daniel 7. The four animals, the four beasts. The lion, the bear, the leopard, and the dreadful and terrible. It was four Gentile kingdoms to rule the world. This is the same thing he was showing Nebuchadnezzar way before Daniel had that dream. So that's why it's four different segments in this great image. Head of gold, breast and arms of silver, belly and thigh of brass, and legs of iron. And though the feet are part of the legs, that's a little addition. But it's iron and clay. So they all go, that go together though. So it's four segments. So now, he said something else at verse 34. Thou sawest to that a stone was cut out without hands. Cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay and break them. So it smote the image on the feet. Why not hit the image on the head? If you really want to hurt somebody, that's where you would hit them at, right? You want to destroy somebody, you would hit them on the head. But he's showing you this is a succession, and the image worked its way down. And in the last days, when the stone comes, which is Jesus, that's why he said cut out without hands. He said he ain't the normal character you dealing with. He ain't no normal man that you're going to have to deal with. You're going to have to meet your maker. So that's why he said cut out without hands. He going to hit the image on the feet. That's why the stone hit the image. And it broke up the feet, which were iron and clay, but it didn't just break that. When you hit the feet, that destroyed the whole image, just like you would hit it on the head. Because that's what was left. That's what was in charge. The feet is running things. Right now today, the feet is running things of the Gentile dynasty. We done worked our way down to the feet now. Go ahead, verse 35.
Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces.
See what happened just by hitting it on the feet? That destroyed everything. Because that's the end of the Gentile dynasty. Those four kingdoms, time is up, and it's time for the stone to run it. Jesus. Go ahead.
And became like the shape of the summer threshing floor. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them.
Now he just told them the dream so far. He gonna get to the interpretation. Nebuchadnezzar, I know he was amazed so far. He's like, that's what I dreamed. Go ahead.
And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth.
The stone didn't become a bird and fly off to heaven, did it? It became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. That's showing you God's kingdom going to rule from then on. It's not about you going to heaven. Jesus told you to pray, thy kingdom come, brothers and sisters. And he even showed you when it's going to come after these kingdoms run their course, these Gentile rulers. This is the times of the Gentiles we living in. Go ahead.
36. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king.
Go ahead. He going to break it down now. Go ahead.
Thou, O king, art a king of kings. For the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory.
Now he's talking to Nebuchadnezzar. He said, Nebuchadnezzar, you. See, that's why God gave it to Nebuchadnezzar. He didn't even give it to Daniel, per se, in the beginning. He made Nebuchadnezzar dream the dream. And then Daniel had to get it and interpret it for him and give it, show him what it meant. He said, thou, O king, art a king of kings. Remember, he's called Nebuchadnezzar my servant, didn't he? Because he used Nebuchadnezzar to knock Israel off and gave him the world, basically. And everybody after him, even though the other three took over from Babylon, they still just ruled what the Lord gave Nebuchadnezzar. It's his, really. That's why he said, thou, O king, art a king of kings. For what? For the God of heaven hath given thee kingdom, power, strength, and glory. 38.
And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven have he given into thine hand, and have made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold.
See, he told him where he fit in at. Right at the top. He said, you are the head of gold, because this is the beginning. That's why he said the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way. This is the beginning of the Gentile dynasty. But it don't stop with him. Go ahead.
And after thee shall arise another kingdom, inferior to thee.
See, that's why I said you can call it 4 kings ruling the kingdom, or you can call it really what it is, 4 kingdoms. They all rule in the same area, though, the earth. After thee shall arise another kingdom. We know we're going to get 4 because it was 4 beasts, wasn't it? And that's why it's 4 segments. Another kingdom inferior to thee. Silver is inferior to gold, right? The breast and arms of silver. Go ahead.
And another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth.
That's when it really started expanding over all the earth. They started knowing really how far the earth was going then. They started getting an idea anyway and spreading out more. So he had rule. This is the third one, the thigh and the stomach and thigh brass. But now, verse 40.
And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron.
Oh, but the legs of iron. And then you got the feet that go with it, just an extra push to keep it alive. He said, and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. Just like it said it had great iron teeth in Daniel 7. Go ahead.
For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these things, shall it break in pieces and bruise.
See, that kingdom rough. But now, we're going to save time. Skip down to verse 44. We'll get this. We'll wrap it up later. We're just going to show you how far this is going. Because the title is, God's kingdom comes after the times of the Gentiles. So verse 44, because he really started dealing with the toes, and we ain't going to get into that in detail right at the moment. We'll get back later. Verse 44, but he's going to say something that you need to pay attention to. Go ahead.
And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom.
That's the important thing, brothers and sisters. These 4 always take you to God's kingdom. That's where it ends at. That's what God is showing you. He's showing you even the kingdoms that would rule before he take it over. In the days of these kings, see, we living in these days now because it came all the way down to us. And that's why people need to understand that Rome is still ruling, the 4th one. We're going to break them down a little bit, but Rome is still ruling. You just don't know how. And in the days of these kings, during the days of these last, this is really the toes. It's 10 toes too, right? In the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom. How long is it going to last?
Which shall never be destroyed.
Now that's how it ended in the 7th chapter of Daniel when we read about the 4 beasts, didn't it? And it said that then the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom, didn't it? And possess it forever and ever, right? Same old thing. Lord trying to show you what's happening, and we going the other way, listen to fairy tales about going up to heaven. He going to take over this world from some literal rulers that's ruling before him, namely the Gentiles. That's why the Gentiles rule the whole world. Somebody said before, well, you know, they ain't ruled nothing in Africa. Whatever going on in Africa, they will allow some people to rule themselves because it ain't even worth their time. That's the way they think about it. But you know ain't nobody really running nothing in Africa. They struggling trying to get enough food. If the Gentiles don't help them get some food, they won't be eating. So it's their time. He said, in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. Go ahead.
And the kingdom shall not be left to other people.
His kingdom ain't going to transfer hands not once. Go ahead.
But it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms.
How long is it going to stand?
And it shall stand forever.
And it's going to stand forever, brothers. But it's showing you it's right. The ball game is right here. Once these 4 are done, let's go. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Read. You have 45 on there. Go ahead.
For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands.
See, that's what the stone represents. God's kingdom. He coming to tear this up and establish his. Until that happens, God's kingdom is not here. Go ahead.
And that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And a dream is certain, and interpretation thereof sure.
Now you got to know, Nebuchadnezzar was laying there with his mouth wide open. Because he probably gave up. He about ready to kill everybody. Because he didn't think this could be told. He's asking for somebody to tell him, but he probably didn't believe, especially when they couldn't tell him at first. So Daniel told him, he broke it all down, what he dreamed and what it means, even taking it down to our days. That's how important it is. What did Nebuchadnezzar say? Verse 46. Read verse 46.
Then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and worshipped Daniel, and commanded that they should offer an oblation and sweet odors unto him.
You see, boy, Nebuchadnezzar was messed up. He fell on his knees and started worshiping Daniel. And say, hey, this brother got it going on right here. But now, let's go to Zechariah 1. Zechariah 1. Zechariah 1. And keep your finger in Daniel because we're going to keep going back and forth. But now we're going to go to Zechariah 1. And show it to you another direction. The Lord wants you to see this. He got it all over the Bible. That's how everything that you want to teach, you ain't got to start making stuff up. That's what brothers start doing. They want to try to prove something, want to be somebody. Look, the Lord, whatever God wants you to know, he got it spread out so you can't miss it. Zechariah 1, and we're going to pick it up at verse 18. Zechariah 1 and 18. Go ahead.
Then lifted I up mine eyes, and saw, and behold, 4 horns.
Now here go 4 again. Always 4. We saw it was 4 beasts, right? We saw it was 4 divisions to that great image that Nebuchadnezzar dreamed about. Now here go 4 horns. Go ahead.
And I said unto the angel that talked with me, What be these?
Now he asked, what be these? Go ahead.
And he answered me, These are the horns which have scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem.
See, he said, these are the horns that have scattered Israel. Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem. That's Israel, period. These are the horns that have done it. We saw he brought Nebuchadnezzar to start it off. And see, when the government's changed, you still a slave. You just changed. You just got a new owner. That's all. How that worked. Just like in the old days, if the master sold his land, don't you know the slaves went with it? Or he can try to keep them, but generally, hey, it's just property just like anything else. So just like when Nebuchadnezzar's time was up and the next Russia and Iran started ruling, then, hey, Israel was still scattered. So that's what he's saying. He said, these 4 horns are the horns that have scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem. Verse 20.
And the Lord showed me 4 carpenters.
Then he showed them 4 carpenters because it won't last forever. It got an end in sight. That's why the title is, again, God's kingdom comes after the times of the Gentiles. See, the times of the Gentiles started when Israel got scattered and Nebuchadnezzar came on the scene running it. That's when the times of the Gentiles started. He even told us the Gentile has come up from his thicket. The lion come up from his thicket. The destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way, right? Mm-hmm. He told us that. So now he said he sent 4 carpenters. This is how the Lord going to wrap this thing up in the end. He going to make the Gentiles fight each other. See, they trying to keep, see, they got enough sense to, look, we just share the wealth. We spread it out, we share the wealth. But see, they ain't going to be able to maintain in the end because God ain't going to let them. He going to have these angels make them go at it. But go ahead, verse 21.
Then said I, what come these to do?
What do these carpenters come to do? And then he going to break it all down again. Go ahead.
And he spake, saying, these are the horns which have scattered Judah, so that no man dare lift up his head.
See, these are the horns. He went back to the horns first. These are the horns. Now, I told you, these are the horns that have scattered Judah, and no man couldn't even, you can't even lift your head up. That's why Israel in slavery, ain't nothing you can do about it. People talking about, well, I love you, ain't nothing you can do. Look, you a slave, ain't nothing you can do about that either. You need to deal with reality. Go ahead.
But these I come to free them, to cast out the horns of the Gentiles.
Oh, but these carpenters are come to fray them, these horns. Get rid of them. But these horns been pushing Israel all over the world. In bondage. He said, but these carpenters are come to fray them, to cast out the horns of what?
Gentiles.
Of the Gentiles. See, these are the Gentiles again. These 4 are the Gentile nations ruling it. Not all the Gentile nations, but it's a dynasty made up of Gentiles. To cast out the horns of the Gentiles, which what?
Which lifted up their horn over the land of Judah to scatter it.
Which lifted up their horn. Starting with who? Nebuchadnezzar, the Gentile destroyer who God sent. Now, let's go back to Daniel 5. So we got a good idea what we're dealing with. We're dealing with 4 Gentile nations that God gave a set amount of time to run things. And then he's not just going to end their rulership and that's it, the world end. No, he's going to rule forever after that. He said in Daniel 7, the saints going to take the kingdom. We read in Daniel 2, he said, during the days of these last kings in the end, the God of heaven shall set up a kingdom that shall stand forever. Now, Daniel 5. Now we're going to go through a little quick transition. Since it's 4, we know Nebuchadnezzar, that's the only one we really seen is the first one. So we're going to see how it transitions. We're going to see actually who the 4 are. Daniel 5 and 22. Daniel 5 and 22. Go ahead.
And thou, his son, O Belshazzar, has not humbled thine heart, though thou knewest all this.
Now, we just skipped in here. We didn't read all of this, but just a brief update what had happened. Belshazzar, Nebuchadnezzar's son, had a party, and he started drinking with all these, he got real high, I guess. And he started getting real pompous, so he decided to bring stuff Nebuchadnezzar took from Jerusalem, which represent God's holy stuff. Nebuchadnezzar had enough sense, even though he took it, he said, look, just put that over there and don't mess with it. Because he had enough sense to say, look, because he knew Israel's God was the real God. He had that much sense. So he said, look, just put it in there, don't mess with it. But his son decided to go get the cups and drink out of them and praise all these false gods. And the Lord sent a hand out of nowhere and all of a sudden a hand showed up, started writing on the wall. Just like if a hand showed up over there and everybody saw y'all be running up out of here. Well, that's what happened to him. And see, we didn't read none of that, but matter of fact, we'll read a little bit because y'all ain't got nowhere to go, right? We're going to read a little bit. Back up to verse 4. Daniel 5 and 4. Go ahead.
They drank wine and praised the gods of gold and of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone.
I'm sorry, read verse 3 since you're there. Go ahead.
Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of God, which was at Jerusalem. And the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines drank in them.
Now they start using God stuff. His party going real good, but it's about to end. Go ahead.
They drank wine and praised the gods of gold and of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone.
Go ahead.
In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand they wrote.
See, that hand just showed up out of nowhere, started writing on the wall. That's where the saying come, the handwriting is on the wall. Because it was over for him. This was his last night. He made his last mistake by messing with God's cups. But go ahead.
Then the king's countenance was changed.
Oh, that proud look he had, that disappeared. All of a sudden, proud, and he having a good time, rejoicing. I bet you his heart wore off right quick. He saw that hand over there. The king's countenance was changed. Go ahead.
And his thoughts troubled him.
And his thoughts, I'm sure they did. Go ahead. Let's see what else happened to the king.
So that the joints of his loins were loose.
He probably used the washroom. That's really what it said. The joints of his loins were loosed. Go ahead. What else happened?
And his knees smote one against another.
Well, he was shook. And his knees started banging each other. He knew he was in trouble. So that's when he cried out, said, help, help, somebody show me what this, because it was little writing on the wall, and he couldn't read it. So he wanted to know what it was. It ended up, last but not least, they had to call who? Daniel again. They knew from the previous time, this time, they had put Daniel back on the back burner by now, years that went by. He was back on the back burner. So it took a while to get to him. Then somebody said, well, you know, there's this guy that showed your daddy something back in the day. Why don't you call him? So that's when Daniel come in. Then we get back to where we was at in the lesson. Back to verse 22. Because Daniel started breaking down to what he did with them cups and how the Lord had even humbled his father. And he knew about how the Lord humbled his father, made him dwell in the field for 7 years. And he won't acknowledge that. 22, go ahead.
And thou, his son, O Belshazzar, has not humbled thine heart, though thou knewest all this.
See, that's what Daniel telling the king this when he come to tell him the writing. See, he's going to tell him the writing, but he's going to give him a lecture too. Go ahead.
But has lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven. And they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy lords, thy wives and thy concubines have drunk wine in them. And thou hast praised the gods of silver and gold, of brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know, and the God in whose hands thy breath is, and whose all thy ways hast thou not glorified.
He said, and the one who got your breath, you ain't glorified him. You praise all these gods, and you drinking out of his cups. He don't like that. Go ahead, 24.
Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written.
He said, now he sent the hand, and this was the writing. Because they wanted to know what the writing meant, because they couldn't read it. And Daniel, again, go interpret this. Go ahead.
And this is the writing that was written. Many, tekel, upharsin. This is the interpretation of the thing. Many, God have numbered thy kingdom and finished it.
See, this was the end of Babylon as a kingdom, as a literal kingdom. But spiritually, it's all Babylon, because that's where it started, at the head of gold. But this was the end of it as a physical kingdom. He said many, because Belshazzar was Nebuchadnezzar's son, or some say grandson. I ain't going to even argue about it. This is the interpretation of it. God have numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Go ahead.
Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting.
You've been weighed, in other words, you've been put on the scale and you come up a little short. Go ahead.
Perez, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians.
Oh, now that's the second one. Now we moving along. We leaving Babylon, which started this, and we move into the second kingdom, the breast and arms of silver, or the bear that lifted up itself with ribs in the mouth, in Daniel 7. He said, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. And that was a joint rulership. Medes is Russia. They still got the bear emblem. The Persians is Iran. That's why Russia won't let America and the rest of the West jump on Iran. People talk about they're going to try to do something, but they got to worry about Russia. That's why they ain't did nothing yet. That's why they even processing that fuel that didn't nobody want them to do, right? Who helping them do it? Because they always been joint like that. Russia is the one helping them do it. So they might try something, but they gonna tread lightly because they know Russia is in their corner. And they don't know exactly what they got. But they ain't worried so much about Iran as they are Russia. But that's who the Medes and the Persians is, Russia and modern day Iran. That's who took over years ago after Nebuchadnezzar Babylon time was up. His son Belshazzar drunk out of them cups. That was the last day of his life. And it wasn't no big fight or nothing. Wasn't no fight. They just had a smooth transition to this Median king. He was obviously in line, and they had a transition. That's how we know the Babylon that the Lord talking about going to get destroyed and tore down at the end. That's referring to Rome at the end. That's spiritual Babylon. So the Lord do things twofold. But now go ahead. What verse you at?
29.
Uh-huh.
Then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet and put a chain of gold about his neck.
See, he was happy that like his father started glorifying Daniel, right? He was happy because he wanted to know what that writing meant. He had tried everybody else. Couldn't get no answer. Then they called Daniel. He gave him the answer. Daniel told him to keep his gifts. He basically said, look, hey, you going to need that. Don't worry about giving me nothing. You ain't even got no more authority because your time is up. So, but he clothed Daniel with scarlet, put a gold chain on his neck, and did what?
And made a proclamation concerning him that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom.
See, that maybe he thought this was going to save him. Go ahead.
And that night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain.
See, that night he got killed. And what happened?
And Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 62 years old.
See, Darius the Median took the kingdom. Like some history books say, well, we don't really know. This might have been Darius, and we can't find him. Because all this stuff is in history. They know these people. I mean, not aside from the Bible, they know these people from records that they got. But this one, they do have a hard time trying to find him. They speculate where it could have been somebody else. They just don't have the record. But we know the Bible is right. Mm-hmm. It said Darius the Median took the kingdom because the Medes, which is Russia, ruled the beginning part of the kingdom. Then later on, it was all Persian kings. And their rulership was stronger, which we're going to get to that now. Go to Daniel 8. Daniel the 8th chapter. This lesson long. I hope you packed a lunch. Eight and 1. Daniel 8 and verse 1. Okay, go ahead.
In the third year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me Daniel, after that which appeared unto me at the first.
See, now Daniel having another vision here. Again, this points out that the Bible is not in chronological order. It's not, everything is not later in the Bible. It's not, don't mean it happened after something earlier written in the Bible. Example, Exhibit 8 here. This is Daniel the 8th chapter. It says, in the third year of the reign of King Belshazzar. Daniel had this vision in the third year of Belshazzar. We just left the 5th chapter, which is before this. That was the last day of Belshazzar's life. So what happened in the 8th chapter happened before what took place in the 5th chapter. But anyway, he had this vision, right? And what did he say? Verse 2.
And I saw in a vision, and it came to pass when I saw that I was at Shushan in the palace, which is the province of Elam.
Uh-huh.
And I saw in a vision, and I was by the river of Ulai.
Uh-huh.
Then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram which had 2 horns.
Uh-huh.
And the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up land.
Okay, now he saw some other animals. See, even before Babylon had transitioned and the Medes had took over, even before that, Daniel had went past the Medes all the way down to the Third Empire. He had visions of all this, even before, while Belshazzar was still ruling. Babylon was still in charge. Daniel is getting ready to have a vision about even going down to the third rulership. It's only 4. Because we're gonna see the transition. We saw how it got from Babylon to the second one, the Medo-Persian Empire, when Belshazzar drank out of them cups. Now we're getting ready to see how it get from Medo-Persian to the third empire. So he saw these two, he saw this animal here, he saw this ram here, which is another animal that represents the Medo-Persian. Just like it was represented by the bear, or in the statue, the breasts and arms of silver, it's also represented by this ram. See, and again, this shows you, so some people say, well, how do you know the Bible is true? You know, what really make you have faith in the Bible? And this is the reason why for me. Because God told all this stuff before it happened. And even stuff that I see in the Bible that's happening now, he foretold it. And we know the Bible been here. They ain't just came up with it last week. It's been here all these years, and it's talking about stuff that's going on in our days. See, you don't have none of these other so-called holy books that's doing that. I done looked into them. They not telling you what the future holds before it happens. See, that's it. Proof is in the pudding with the Bible. So now he said here, he was showing Daniel this again, way in advance before it happened. See, you can't even imitate this. They had some, what's that guy, Nostradamus. He tried to make up stuff. I could have wrote that mess. He just tried to copy some stuff like out of here. But now he said, verse 3, then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram that got 2 horns. That's why the bear lifted up itself on one side. It got 2 horns, but he going to tell you something. Finish that verse 3. It got 2 horns and what?
And the 2 horns were high.
And both of them was high, but what?
But one was higher than the other.
But one was higher than the other. That means it's imbalanced. It lifted up itself on one side. One horn was higher than the other. Go ahead.
And the higher came up last.
And the higher came up last. That show you the strong, it's a joint rulership. That's why it's 2. We read the Medes and the Persians took over, right? The Medes ruled it first, but the Persians were the stronger ruler, the latter half of the kingdom. They really enhanced the kingdom. The Medes just was like caretakers, what he basically letting us know. They ran it, but when the Persians got their hands on it and started, it was their time to run it, then, hey, they really enhanced it. That's why he said the high came up last, verse 4. But now, we're not worried about them so much because somebody else's time is coming. Because it can't stay with the Medes and the Persians. The mantle got to pass to the third one. Go ahead.
I saw the ram pushing westward.
This ram was doing his thing. Notice which way he pushing to. The ram was pushing westward. What else?
And northward.
And
southward.
See, why he didn't push eastward? Because he all the way in the east. That's where Russia and Iran is. They in the east. Ain't no need to push over there. They pushing out when they running, conquering stuff. Because he come from the east. Go ahead.
So that no beast might stand before him.
See, these are kings. We know beasts are kingdoms. Go ahead.
Neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand.
Go ahead.
But he did according to his will and became great. And as I was considering, behold, as he goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth and touched not the ground. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes.
See, now he saw this ram doing his thing. It was running. And again, the Bible going to tell us exactly what this is. We ain't got to make nothing up or guess about it. The Bible going to tell us what who the ram is and who the goat is. All of a sudden, the goat come out of nowhere. Where it come from the west, not out of nowhere. He tell you exactly where it come from. Because this is the Greek Empire time now. This is the third one. The Greek Empire is on its way now. Which is the leopard with 4. Remember, the leopard had 4 heads. That's unique. And 4 wings of a fowl. So 4 is dominant with the leopard. Let's see if the goat have the same characteristics. Go ahead.
Verse 6.
Read verse 5 again, I'm sorry.
And as I was considering, behold, as he goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth.
Speed up a little bit because we're going to be here all night.
And touched not the ground.
Uh-huh.
And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes.
See, it had a notable horn between his eyes. Horns generally represent kings. Like I said, this is the notable, the first king. He's going to tell you, verse 6.
And he came to the ram that had two horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power.
See, he about to knock the ram off. The goat meets the ram. Go ahead.
And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him.
See, people say, well, some of them words in the Bible, you don't understand. Well, just look them up. Choler, it means anger. He was upset. Go ahead.
And smote the ram, and brake his two horns. And there was no power in the ram to stand before him.
See, now he broke the two horns. That was the end of the Medo-Persian Empire. We're working our way down. Because it's important that we work our way down, because ultimately we want to get to God's kingdom taking over after this Gentile dynasty. These four represent the Gentile dynasty. They just changed hands. So now the goat's time is come. See, the Gentiles unique. The Gentiles kind of unique. They got somewhere, look, once they just want to run it. Once they run it, they incorporate all the stuff you got. But I'm running it now. Just like even they have elections in this country. They have elections, they be fighting like cats and dogs. Probably hate each other during the election, but they know how it goes. So when the election over with, hey, now we got to, you're going to be on my side now. I incorporate you. So that's what they've been doing. So now the goat came and his time has come. He broke the two horns. There was no power in the ram to stand before him. And finish verse 7.
But he cast him down to the ground and stamped upon him. And there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand.
Therefore what? Verse 8.
Therefore the he-goat waxed very great.
It's the he-goat's time. Go ahead.
And when he was strong, the great horn was broken. And for it came up four notable ones toward the four winds of heaven.
See, now all of a sudden, right away, it gives you information about this goat that's in line with the leopard, the third empire. Or with the statue, it's the belly and thighs of brass. It gives you some information. It said the great horn was broken, which is Alexander the Great, the first king that started it off for the Greek Empire. And it got broken. He died at a young age. It said four notable ones came up toward the four winds. And that's the four kings, the four heads that was on the leopard. These are four kings after Alexander the Great died. His generals took over. See, they wasn't, none of them wasn't unique enough to rule it, just take over and run it. It was one of them he probably could have, but the other four killed him. So they got him out the way. He wasn't even one of the four. So then the four took over because they couldn't run it. They tried to fight each other too, but they could. They said, look, you just rule that part, I rule this part, and we just call it a day. That's how it broke up. It split into four. That's what he's telling you here. That's why he said the great horn was broken into verse 8, and for it came up four notable ones toward the four winds of heaven. They spread it out. But now, we're going to move on, skip. Was I supposed to read all that? You got, what verse we at? Oh, no, I didn't think I was going to read all that at first. Skip down now to verse 20. I should have threw 20 in there. That's okay. Skip down to verse 20 now, because after verse 4, what does verse 4 say? Read verse 4. Remind me. Go ahead.
I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beast might stand before him. Neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand. But he did according to his will and became great. Okay, now verse 20. Skip down to verse 20, because we're going to get the meaning of all this, even though I done told you already. Go ahead, verse 20. The ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Media and Persia. See, the ram which he saw having two horns are the kings of Media and Persia. So that tells us who the ram is right off the bat, right? The same one that took over when the handwriting came on the wall, right? He said, your kingdom is numbered, it's over, it's given to the Medes and the Persians. Now go ahead, verse 21. And the rough goat is the king of Grecia.
And the rough goat is the king of Grecia, the Greek Empire. So it interprets itself. We don't have to guess at this, do we? Go ahead.
And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king.
And that's Alexander the Great. Go ahead.
Now that being broken.
Now that great horn got broken like we read. Go ahead.
Whereas 4 stood up for it. 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power.
See, 4 his generals took over. None of them couldn't be strong like him and he ran the whole thing. For a brief moment until he died. He died young, some type of disease. But he was in charge of it all. They couldn't do it like him. So they split it up into 4 parts. Now, keep your finger in Daniel. We're going to come back again. We're going to read some history now. Hopefully, I think they made copies of the history. You can read along. The first one we're going to read is World Book Encyclopedia. Because we know it's 4. We can't stop at 3 with the Greek Empire. But you gotta really watch because it'll just drift right into the 4th one. That's why some brothers get confused about this Daniel the 8th chapter. They think this little horn in Daniel 8 is talking about the part of the Greek Empire, Antiochus Epiphanes. No, that's out of the 4th empire, this little horn. That's where he come from. But Rome slides in so cleverly, just like Rome is as a kingdom. It's so clever as a kingdom. It's still controlling you now, and you don't even know it. You don't know it. Even they call the cardinals and bishops of the Roman Catholic Church, not just the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church. They call the cardinals, all of them, they call them princes. Let one of them die. You gotta even just read the newspaper. One of them died. They had a big thing when Cardinal Bernardine died. A prince has fallen. Front page of the Sun-Times, Chicago Sun-Times. Because, hey, they know what they're doing. They really running it. But now, World Book Encyclopedia, Volume 8, page 366, under Greece, because we're going to see how Greece winded down. Okay, that's at the top on the left. Go ahead.
The Hellenistic age.
Uh-huh.
In 334 B.C., Alexander the Great, Philip's son, attacked the Persian Empire with an army of Macedonians and Greeks.
See, this is what we've been reading about in the Bible. But the good thing about the Bible, it told you it before. Some people try to speculate, no, Daniel was later on. They try to say Daniel was around 1-something B.C. You're a lie and the truth not in you. Daniel was back in 500 B.C. with Babylon, according to the Bible, right? Mm-hmm. So this stuff, Daniel saw this stuff before it came about. And they not quoting it from the Bible. They got documentation records, world records that they going off with this encyclopedia. The Hellenistic age in 334 B.C., Alexander the Great, Philip's son, because his father was strong. He had basically organized Macedonia. But Alexander the Great took it the rest of the way. Philip's son attacked the Persian Empire. Wasn't it the Medes and the Persians that was running it according to the Bible? That took over from Babylon? And I told you the Medes ran the first half of the kingdom and the Persians ran the latter half. So the Persians were in charge when they fell to the Greek Empire. It said they attacked the Persian Empire with an army of Macedonians and Greeks. Go ahead.
Within 10 years, he conquered an area almost the size of the United States.
Now that was record time. People don't understand. They didn't have planes or none of that stuff. So that was record time for him to do that. 10 years, he conquered a great area. Why you think the Bible gave the third empire, made it a leopard? It made it a leopard, which is one of the quickest animals there is, right? And not only is it a leopard, it gave him 4 wings of a fire. That means that boy was flying. Just took over everything. Whoo. Knocked off everything in his sight. Out of nowhere. So he gave it a leopard with 4 wings of a fowl and 4 heads because it represents the king. And also, even the goat. I didn't stress it when we read. You read on your own. We read it. I didn't point it out. When it said a goat, it said a he-goat came and it touched not the ground. That means that boy was flying. That's what he's telling you. It said He conquered the area almost size of the United States in 10 years. Go ahead.
He recognized and admired Greek traditions
Uh-huh.
and achievements and founded Greek cities everywhere he went, including Alexandria, Egypt, by spreading Greek civilizations and language. Alexander profoundly affected the history of the world. Greek culture rapidly became a world culture.
Uh-huh.
This period that followed Alexander is called the Hellenistic Age.
Uh-huh.
After Alexander died in 323 BC, Macedonia gradually became weaker. Many Greek city-states took advantage of this weakness to unite in independent leagues.
Mm-hmm.
The chief leagues were the Aetolian in central Greece and the Actian and the Peloponnesians.
Mm-hmm.
Each member city-state sent delegates to league meetings. These leagues were the world's first attempt at representative democracy.
See, that's where it started at. And Rome perfected that, and now that's what everybody got nowadays, for the most part. Now, let's go to the next one. This is World Book Encyclopedia. It's right under there, 391, because we got to get to the fourth one. And we're going to use some history to bring it in. We know it got to be four, though. Who came? And these are in succession, one after another. It ain't no gap in between these. We saw it went from Babylon directly to the Medo-Persians. It went from the Medo-Persians directly to the Greek Empire. So we got to get to that last one, that dreadful and terrible one. Go ahead. This is the World Book Encyclopedia, volume 16, page 391. Go ahead.
Greece at this time was torn by quarrels among its city-states.
Uh-huh.
Perseus, who had succeeded his father, Philip V, as king of Macedonia, took advantage of the Greek discontent to provoke a war with Rome.
Now, this is some 150 years later from what we read above. Some 150 years later, when the Greek Empire is winding down. It's time for the fourth Gentile dynasty to come on the scene. And they saw Rome rising up because, they couldn't manage it with everything split out into these categories, these four different kings. So it was inevitable somebody with some strength was going to rise up. So they saw Rome rise up, so, hey, they tried to deal with it. They went after them. They provoked a war with Rome. But what happened?
Rome easily crushed Perseus in 168 BC.
It wasn't even a contest. It was too late. The Greeks should have left that alone. Rome easily, it said, crushed Perseus in 168 BC. What else they do?
The Romans suppressed further Greek and Macedonia revolts in 148 BC.
Uh-huh.
And made Macedonia the first Eastern Roman province.
Uh-huh.
2 years later, the Romans destroyed the city of Corinth, completing their conquest of Greece.
Oh, so in the some BCs, before Jesus' time, that's why when Jesus came on the scene in the Bible, who was running things then? Rome was everything to everybody. Rome ran it all by that time. So you had went through all the four by the time Jesus came. Because it's telling you here, Rome came on the scene in the 150, 140 BC. And it said 2 years later, Romans destroyed the city of Corinth, completing their conquest of Greece. So now we got the fourth ruling empire. We know it got to be four. Now let's go back to the scriptures. We'll get back to some history in a minute. Back to Daniel 8, which is where we left off at. Because Rome came in there, and Rome is mentioned in Daniel 8. Daniel 8. Matter of fact, we're going to read verse 8. I didn't have it on there because we're going to back up just so you could see it slides right into Rome. But when you have some understanding, you see the Lord had changed from one verse to another. He will jump 1,000 years on you. So this ain't nothing. Verse 9. Start at 8. Go ahead.
Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken. And for it came up four notable ones toward the four winds of heaven.
See, now it came up four notable ones toward the four winds of heaven. So it was four kingdoms that came out of this one kingdom. And this is where people lose sight. It just go right into how the Roman Empire rose up from one of those parts. Go ahead, verse 9.
And out of one of them came forth a little horn.
See, now, because he talked about, he left talking about the Greek Empire, Somebody say, well, he's still talking about the Greek Empire, this Antiochus Epiphanes. But no, we already know where the little horn came from. The little horn came from the fourth world ruling empire. So he's just taking you right into it, because that's how the Lord will do it. The Lord looking at the whole spectrum. He's not looking at a little venue. He see the whole thing. He see from beginning to the end. And he can talk like that. He'll just take you to the next stage just like that. So out of one of them came forth a little horn. Out of one of those four where the world split up, Rome came out of, and the little horn came out of Rome. The little horn. But the way you know for sure is you see what the little horn is doing and how long he gonna last. Nobody from the Greek Empire gonna make it all the way down to the end and stand up against the Prince of Princes. As simple as that. Nobody gonna do that. And that's what this guy gonna do. But this little horn is from Rome. That's why I showed you how we know Rome and took over. Go ahead.
Which waxed exceedingly great, toward the south and toward the east and toward the pleasant land.
Go ahead.
And it waxed great even to the host of heaven.
And
it cast down some of the hosts and of the stars to the ground.
See, this little horn is something else. Antiochus did a little dirt in his day, but he don't match with this. Go ahead.
And stamped upon them. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down.
Okay, now let's get the interpretation of it. Like we did everything else, let's go to verse 22. We're going to throw 22 in there since we threw 8 in there, because they all match up. 22 lines up with 8, explaining 8. And 23 takes it on starting at 9. It explains itself. Go ahead.
Now they're being broken, whereas 4 stood up for it. 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power.
See, that's the key. 4 kingdoms came out of Alexander the Great. That's what verse 8 will tell you. The he-goat was great, the horn was broken, and 4 notable ones came up. What are those 4 notable ones? Those are 4 generals who had 4 kingdoms. 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in this power. But now notice where it go to, verse 23.
And in a later time of their kingdom.
See, now you would think this is the Greek Empire, but now remember, it's all one kingdom in the end. See, so he's just taking you somewhere else. Now, in the latter time of their kingdom, and when you get the explanation, he lets you know where he's taking you to. Now, in the latter time of their kingdom, when what?
When the transgressors are come to the full.
See, we at the end of time now, already. We at the end of time. This little horn is going to take you to the end of time. That's what's important about him. He's the main person in all of this. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full. Remember, the Lord give everybody their time. Even an individual, he give you your time to sin so much, and then he's going to take your life. He already got it planned. Look, I'm going to give this sister to this time here. And when her transgression is full, that will be the end of it. Verse 23, and in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, what's going to happen?
A king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up.
See, this is the little horn. Go ahead.
And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own
See, it
power.
just jumped to the end now, because that's what all this is leading us to. It's leading us to God's kingdom coming after the times of the Gentiles is fulfilled, after it's over with. So, and this last vestige of the Roman Empire got to go off the deep end. So it said, a king of fierce countenance shall stand up, understanding dark sentences. Go ahead, 24. His power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. Go ahead.
And he shall destroy wonderfully.
See, this is taking us to this Antichrist in the end. The abomination of desolation, the man of sin, the son of perdition, which means to destroy. Desolation means to destroy. It say, he shall destroy wonder. See, people think wonder mean good. No, it just mean amazing. He going to do some evil wonderfully. He shall destroy wonderfully. He going to destroy so much in these days, it's going to make the past wars and destruction seem like a picnic. He shall destroy wonderfully. Go ahead.
And shall prosper and practice and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people.
And he going to destroy the mighty. He don't care how much might you got. He run it all. And the holy people. He don't care how religious you are, how righteous you are, because he religious too. Go ahead, 25.
And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. And he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many.
See, that lets you know he's a religious man. He lifting himself up. That's what they tell you in 2 Thessalonians 2. We ain't going to read that. 2 Thessalonians 2 say he magnify himself in his heart, and he going to sit in the temple of God showing himself that he is God. And some people try to dispute it. Oh, that ain't talking about no literal temple. You blind and can't see. He said, through his policy he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He coming in the name of peace because he's a religious man. Go ahead.
He shall also stand up against the prince of princes.
Wait a minute now. This is the key to all of it. This man here got to stand up against Jesus himself, the prince of princes. He gonna be, this and took us all the way to the end of time, I'm telling you. He shall stand up against the prince of princes. Let's see what's gonna happen to him. Go ahead.
But he shall be broken without hand.
He shall be broken without hand. Didn't we see the stone was cut out without hands? It wasn't no normal. You ain't dealing with no normal individual. You dealing with the Lord God Almighty. So that's why he broke without hands. 2 Thessalonians 2, it tell you again, when a man moves into the temple, God going to give him his time to fulfill it. And that's going to be the end of the Gentile dynasty. And he going to come back and he said he ain't going to lay a hand on him. He going to destroy him with the brightness of his coming and with the spirit of his mouth. He ain't even got to lay a hand on him. All he got to do is say it. Now, Daniel 7, back up to Daniel 7. And we're going to read a little bit what we read already and go over it one more time and show you that, again, this is taking it to the end. We're going to read about him again. This is how you know who you're dealing with. You ain't got to try to make up something. Just put the pieces together. 7 and 7, Daniel 7 and 7. Go ahead. We're going to read about, because this is what it's all about, this fourth empire. It got to be on the scene when the Lord come and start his kingdom and put an end to this whole Gentile dynasty. 7 and 7. Go ahead.
After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns.
See, that's what's really diverse about this beast. It lasted all this time, and it had religion as a backbone. It brought religion in as support to keep the kingdom alive. That's all it is. They're just trying to rule over people. But they knew that when they didn't have no more might, muscle to rule you, they said, we got to come with something else. That's why this beast is diverse. They say, I tell you what, if we don't have the might, we can control the mind. If you control the mind, you're still ruling over people. And that's what they're doing. That's why all of this doctrine that we got has come from Rome. Even though it existed, a lot of it existed prior, but they the ones put it in a package and gave it to you as Christianity. And they controlling the flow now. So he said it was diverse from all the beasts that before it, and it had 10 horns. But what else it had, verse 8?
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn.
See, this is the little horn. This is what we went to in Daniel the 8th chapter. The little horn. Go ahead.
Before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the root. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things.
See, now, the 3 of the first horns, what it is, Rome always, since Rome fell, it always had these generals or these emperor type men. Before Rome fell as a military might, which was around 476 AD, the emperor ran it all. The emperor was it. He was the king. That was it. Wasn't no saying nothing. He didn't care about no religious leader. He was secondhand. But see, once Rome fell, then that's when religion stepped up. And you had another figure to contend with, and that's why he's showing you this through this little horn. So that's why he say 3 are the ones plucked up by the roots, because this guy came on the scene and he knocked off some of the ones that was trying to run things in the beginning. Some of the military men. See, how do you think the Pope of Rome got all the power that he got, where he got himself an independent state within Italy? Hey, through deal making over the years, by having so much influence and control over people, hey, they had to listen to him. Even though he ain't going out conquering nobody, he ain't going out fighting no wars literally like that, but he using the ones he had. You know, he'd side with different kings in different conflicts. He'd side with him. Well, I'm on your side. Give me something. And that's how he got. See, before he had Vatican City, he had what was known as the Papal States. Some other land. And this last one of the horns, he one of the horns, Mussolini, Benito Mussolini, in around 1940-something, they gave him, he traded. He said, look, I will give you Vatican City. You let go these Papal States. And that's how he got Vatican City, set up independent state. So now, but that's why it's telling you he plucked up 3 of the horns by the roots. He dealt with some of these kings. Skip down now to verse 23. And we're going to try to somehow get out of here. Go ahead.
Thus he said, the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces.
See, this is the most important one. The 4th kingdom, the last one. He talked about it more than any of them, because it's taking you to the Lord's kingdom. He's going to be in charge when the Lord come back. That's why we've been knowing for years, 20, 30 years, that, hey, America, that's how long I've been knowing, people been knowing before that America was going to have to start losing some strength, and Western Europe going to be rising up, because that's the revived Roman Empire. We've been knowing that. But go ahead.
24. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings.
See, they 10 kings, and he knocked off 3 of them, because they didn't want to go along with the Pope. So he said, look, why don't you take care of my enemies for me? And another king knocked them off. Go ahead.
That shall arise, and another shall rise after them. And he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings.
Go ahead. That's the 3 plucked up by the roots. Go ahead.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws.
See, that's what he said he was doing in Daniel the 8th chapter. He magnified himself. And he thinking to change times and laws. Everything that you get from the Bible, he trying to reverse it on you. Go ahead.
And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and a dividing of time.
Now he took it all the way to the end again. The great tribulation, 3.5 years. Just like in Daniel 8, he said a man gonna meet the prince of princes, didn't he? And be broken without hands. Go ahead.
26. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High.
This the bottom line. Go ahead.
Whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him.
See, he taking over from the Gentiles. Everywhere you read it. The Lord gave you the 4 world ruling Gentiles in succession, and he said, I'm going to take over after that. That's why even though you don't see Rome literally ruling, you got to know Rome is still ruling. They still got power. And they're getting all the power that they had once. They reuniting it, regrouping it, getting it back now. That's why he's going to talk about this beast, this 4th beast being healed in Revelation. Because, yeah, it suffered a blow in 476 AD, but it didn't die and go away. It won't die. You can't kill this beast. Only the Lord is going to kill this kingdom when he established his kingdom. So, that's why he said, verse 27, though, in the end of all this, when this 4th one is done, he said, and the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom, not up in heaven. Did he say that? Under the whole heaven. You know where under the whole heaven is, right? On the earth. It shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey. Isn't that clear what the title is? God's kingdom comes after the times of the Gentiles. These four rulerships, ending with Rome, represent the times of the Gentiles. But let's go further. Go to Revelation 17 now. Revelation 17. Revelation 17, and we're going to pick it up at verse 8, because he even give you an answer why you would say, well, I don't really see the Roman Empire now. That's because you got to put your spiritual eyes on to see the Roman Empire. It's here, but it's not here. And that sounds like double talk, but that's what he's letting you know. See, it's been here all the time. It's just been laying dormant. 17 and 8. Because he's talking about, see, Revelation is really talking about only one beast or kingdom. He mentioned another when people get confused on that. That's just the leadership of this one beast. It's talking about one beast. Whereas Daniel talked about four, right? He gave you the four world ruling empires from the Gentiles. Revelation only giving you the one. He giving you the last one. Because that's the one around when it's going to be revealed and finished. 17 and 8. Go ahead.
The beast that thou sawest was and is not.
See, that's wrong right there. The beast that you saw, it was. During the times of the emperors, it was a mighty kingdom. Beast's kingdom, right? We saw that already. We ain't talking about no animals roaming around. The beast that thou sawest was and is not. It was a mighty kingdom. It lost its power in 476 AD, but that's likened to just having a deadly wound inflicted but not dying. You being real sick, but you ain't going to die. They just kept enough strength where they can be revived one day, like coming out of coma. He said, the beast that thou sawest was and is not. Now, it was and is not, but what is it going to do now?
And shall ascend out of the bottomless pit.
So we ain't looking for no new kingdom to come up. We're looking for the same old one to revive. And we seeing it in Western Europe now. It's amazing. People go to church every Sunday. They don't have a clue about none of this. And this is all in your Bible. He said, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into what?
Perdition.
That means to destroy. Start killing you wonderfully. Go ahead.
And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. When they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is.
Wait a minute. He said, you're going to be amazed when they behold the beast, the kingdom that was and is not and yet is. How you going to be was and is not and yet is? Lord trying to show you something. So don't think Rome is not ruling. Rome been ruling, pulling strings behind the scenes, waiting to get all their power back. Let's go farther, back up to now verse 1. And we're going to read through this. Just wanted to show you how we still talk about that fourth one, because we know the fourth one got to make it to the end. We know the little horn and the fourth empire got to stand up against Jesus. Verse 1, go ahead.
And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. See, now he's talking about a great whore because this one got religion, and he just called this church that come out of this kingdom a whore, because it's not God's true church. See, people say, well, boy, y'all talk about people. Look, we reading the Bible. The Bible called you a great whore. Talk to the writer. He said, there came one unto me, say, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth on many waters. Go ahead. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication.
See, this is how she kept power. The kings of the world been going along with it. How do you think the man got Vatican City again? Somebody had to give it to him. He didn't even go over there with no arm and say, this is mine. I'm saying this is mine. He didn't run nobody off Vatican City. No, they gave it to him. Wrote it in law. The kings of the earth have committed fornication. So they going along with it. That's why the doctrine is flooded the world. Everybody know about this Roman doctrine. that you call Christianity, but we call it Roman Christianity. It's not Bible Christianity. Go ahead.
And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
See, and you drunk off of it. You can't tell nobody nothing. Like this lesson is simply showing that it's going to be 4 Gentile nations running, and then God going to take over his kingdom. You try to tell somebody they ain't going to heaven, they drunk. What do you mean they ain't going to heaven? Because they've been believing that all their life. Because Rome perpetuated that, saying that they put people in heaven, the saints in heaven. But go ahead.
3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
See, that's the woman. She get here by riding on the kingdom, the beast. That's how. See, you don't have no Roman Catholic Church. That's why it's important to know the full name, the official name. Some people might just think it's the Catholic Church. It's the Roman Catholic Church. You don't have no Roman Catholic Church without the Roman Empire. But go ahead.
And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color.
See, the Roman is still referring to the church because that's what kept it alive. That's why the church is over in Europe now fighting for their position in this new Europe, in this revived Roman Empire, saying, look, if it wasn't for the church, I wouldn't be here. And some of the politicians trying to, put it in, and some of them don't really care about it. But they going to win in the end because they going to run it. Go ahead.
And decked with gold and precious stones and pearls.
So the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet. That's the colors, the official colors, and it's the richest organization in the world. Because she decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having what?
Having a golden cup in her hand.
But what's in the cup?
Full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
See, just somebody give you something in a golden cup don't mean it's good what's in it. Because it's garbage. They said, come on, take Mass, my child. Go ahead.
Verse 5. And upon her forehead was a name written.
What's written?
Mystery. Babylon the Great.
Oh, it's still called Babylon. Because that's where it all started at. And it's a mystery to the average individual, isn't it? They don't know. Some preachers don't. They act like they scared to even read Revelation. Some of them just said it. I ain't reading no Revelation. This is definitely going to be a mystery to you. Upon her forehead was a name written. Mystery, Babylon the Great. See, we still talking about where this Gentile dynasty started. He told Nebuchadnezzar he was the head of gold, didn't he? So spiritually it's Babylon, even though we know it's down to the Roman Empire. But they ruled what God gave to Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar. Go ahead.
The mother of harlots.
The mother of harlot. She even called herself, she don't mix no bones about it. She called herself the mother church, don't she? Because she tried to show, which rightly so, all these denominations, Protestant, you name it, came out of her. So she's not lying in that regard. It's just not the mother church from God. But it's the mother church of all the churches in this world, all the false ones. So, see, this is some ugly stuff. God trying to show you this world is ugly. You've been bamboozled and don't even know it. We've been fed lies all our life, and that's all we know. Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of whores. He said, you the mother of all the whores. The mother of harlots. Go ahead.
And abominations of the earth.
And abominations of the earth. Go ahead.
And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints.
And she been killing some saints. Some more saints gonna die. You ain't gonna keep getting away with just calling it out without them coming after you after a while. Go ahead.
And with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration.
See, but we got to read the Bible. And John said he wondered with great admiration. He said, boy, that's a strong organization there. Go ahead.
And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman. And of the beast that carrieth her.
See, the beast is carrying her. The Roman Empire. Go ahead.
Which have the 7 heads and 10 horns.
And the beast got 7 heads and 10 horns. See, this is a reuniting of all the Gentiles that have ruled. 7 heads, how do it got 7? They all add up to 7, from the lion to the dreadful and terrible beast. Daniel 7 had a lion, it had a head, it's a lion. The bear had a head. The leopard didn't just have a head. How many did it have? That's 6 then. And the dreadful and terrible, we don't have no animal, but if it's a beast, it got to have a head, right? That's 7. And he's saying, look, this is the revival of all of this. The Gentile dynasty. The last vestige of it. 7 heads. And it also, he gives you a twofold meaning. He's going to mention something else about some kings. But still, he said, I will show thee the mystery of the woman and the beast that carried her with 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman is riding the beast. Then we read that, but we'll read it again, verse 8.
The beast that thou sawest was and is not.
It was a kingdom in the old days. It lost its power, but it's coming back. Go ahead.
And shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world.
The ones that don't know no better. Go ahead.
When they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is.
Go ahead. He's going to tell you something else. Verse 9.
And here is the mind which have wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth.
See, spiritually speaking, it sit on those 7 mountains, the Gentile dynasty. But physically, it also sit on 7 literal mountains. Rome is built on 7 famous hills. But go ahead.
Verse 10. And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen.
See, he told you it'd be twofold meanings. He talked about 7 mountains. Then he said, and also there are 7 kings. Now, where did these 7 kings come from? Because it was 10 on the 4th beast, wasn't it? But we saw he knocked 3 off. That only left 7. He plucked 3 up by the roots. See, that left 7. And they coming in their due time. So he said there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen. See, that means they kept coming and falling, and eventually the 6th had to fall. He didn't fail now. That was Mussolini. Eventually he had to fall if you're going to get to the 7th one. See, the Lord is so wise, he even tell you, he put it at a point when I'm going to put it where, you know, all that stuff Daniel wrote, I'm going to tell it to you at a point where I know you can understand it from looking at it. So that's why he said, when this first could be understood, that makes some sense to somebody, 5 of them have fallen. 5 are fallen, and what? And 1 is.
And 1 is, and the other is not yet come.
So it could be understood when they created the European Common Market or European Economic Community during Mussolini time, because he was on the scene. But he ain't the most important one, because he's trying to get to that last one that's going to reign hand in hand with the religious leader, with the little horn. See, the little horn, they got to work with the little horn. That's what they've been finding out over the years. Like some of them other kings, like Charlemagne and Otto the Great. The Pope was crowning some of them. Even some of them didn't want him to crown. One time the Pope snuck a crown on somebody's head. Like, I'm your boss now. Don't forget. And he was upset. One of them emperors. He was upset. Man, this dude got to make like I owe him my crown. See, they've been fighting back and forth. But now, 7 kings, he says 5 are fallen and 1 is, and what? And the other is not yet come. That means he had to come, right? And he on his way now. And what he going to do? Finish verse 10.
And when he cometh, he must continue a short space.
Go ahead.
And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7th, and goeth into perdition.
See, the beast that was and is not. It was a kingdom in the old days. And it lost it. And the leader that's going to rule, he said the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th and is of the 7th, and goeth into perdition. So, even though Rome basically is 7 heads, this whole dynasty, it's 7 heads starting from Babylon to the Roman Empire. In Daniel the 7th chapter, you can count 7 heads. Like I quoted earlier, you got the lion, the bear, the leopard with 4. That's a total of 6, and the dreadful and terrible. So that's the whole dynasty. But see, being that this dynasty, the last part of it, the Roman, it died. One of the heads almost died. So it's almost like starting it all over again. So he said, look, this is almost like an 8th, but it's really of the 7. That's all he's telling you here. He said, the beast that was is not, even he is the eighth. He said, hey, they going to start this thing brand new again. It's like, but it's been here all along. But he getting as much credit like he started anew. That's why he give him the eighth. Even he is the eighth and is of the seven and goeth into perdition. Go ahead, verse 12.
And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings.
Now the 10 horns are 10 kings that's going to prop it up. These are 10 literal nations. And they got their kings with them. But the 7 represent the whole structure of it. From the Babylon, because he called it Mystery Babylon, didn't he? From Babylon all the way through Rome, dying and resurrecting. That's what the 7 represent. But the 10 is who going to be with it in these days. Go ahead. The 10, he said, the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings. Go ahead.
Which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast.
See, and they likely got their kingdoms now, but go ahead.
These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast.
See, this is key. This is how this thing is revived. He got 10 nations that's going to go all out and give their power, let him use all their resources and control them. 10 independent kings. Going to say, look, we with you. Whatever you say, you got all our resources. Armies, you got it. Money, we won. Even though they are really 10 independent kings. That's incredible. And we see it going on and people not paying attention. It said, verse 12, these 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive king power as kings 1 hour with the beast. They ruling with the beast, with the Roman Empire, even though they other nations. They not just Rome. Rome couldn't do it by themselves as just an independent nation. But they know how to unite. 13, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Now, this is the bottom line. This how it always end up. This how it always wind down. 14.
These shall make war with the Lamb.
Oh, these 10 who giving their power to the beast, they going to do what? Make war with the Lamb. Didn't we read the man going to stand up against the prince of princes? We read that. We read the fourth one going to rule until it's time for the saints to possess the kingdom forever and ever, right? It always ends meeting the Lord. Because the title is God's kingdom comes after the times of the Gentiles. These shall make war with the Lamb. You know they got to be out their mind. Go ahead.
And the Lamb shall overcome them.
Sure he is. Go ahead.
For he is Lord of lords and King of kings.
And where you want to be. Go ahead.
And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful.
See, you want to be with him because they called, chosen, and faithful. Skip down to verse 18. He's going to say something else, and then we're going to move on. Go ahead.
And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
See, the woman which thou sawest is that great city. And that's where the church come out. Which reigneth over the kings of the earth. That's why when the last pope died, all them kings go there. But now, keep your finger there. We're going to go back to the history. Last 2 million years, page 217. See, all this stuff is recorded history that backs up what the Bible was foretelling way in advance. It showed you it went on just like it said. So we're going to read the last 2 million years, the third paragraph on the left, last 2 million years, page 217. Go ahead.
An empire created by the Pope.
See, an empire created by the Pope. Nobody realized this. You got some brothers talking about, yeah, they got that Pope doctrine. Yeah, the Bible gives you some Pope doctrine. An empire created by the Pope. That's what we've been talking about, empire, right? The beast, we ain't talking about no literal leopards and bears and all that out in the field, right? The Lord's showing you that man's rulership is like some animals to him, but he's talking about man's rulership before he started ruling. Because we saw how important the little horn is in all of this. We saw how important the woman is, the mother of harlots. That's the religion in her. That's what kept it from dying out. When Rome fell, the religion, the Pope stepped in and been keeping it alive. That's why it ain't went nowhere. That's why, again, keep reminding people, it's the Roman Catholic Church. Look how much money and power they got. You can't hardly go to the hospital without going to one of theirs. Saint somebody. Don't get sick. You go to college, it's a good chance you're going to go to one of theirs. They got college, university, hospital, all over the place. So, an empire created by the Pope, go ahead.
In 800, in return for Charlemagne's intervention to protect him against his rival, Adrian, Pope Leo III revived an old title and crowned him Emperor of the Roman Empire in the West.
See what the Pope trying to do? He been crowning people left and right to show you, look, I'm really the real boss. And he get help from these different emperors who choose to side with him. He get help to fight other people. He is sending them off to fight. That's why they be talking about the church's involvement in World War II and in the Holocaust and all that stuff that went on during that time. They want, where the church's role? What was the church's role? Yeah, they did have a role. Even the guy that's Pope now, they say he was in Hitler's army as a child. They got pictures of him saluting. But anyway, and Hitler it was with Mussolini. But he said an empire created by the Pope in 800 in return for Charlemagne's intervention to protect him against his rival, Adrian. Pope Leo III revived an old title and crowned him Emperor of the Roman Empire. So now the Roman Empire officially fell in 476 AD, but the Pope is keeping it around, isn't it? See, this was in their mind. See, that's what these men are coming to do. The popes to keep the kingdom alive, and these emperor-type men, they doing the same thing. Crown him Emperor of the Roman Empire in the West. Go ahead.
Charlemagne had no wish to appear to owe his title to Leo. And would have preferred to crown himself.
See, they don't like to even deal with him sometime, but they forced to. He would have preferred to crown himself, but what happened?
But the Pope took him by surprise in St. Peter's on Christmas Day, 800, and placed the crown on his head before Charlemagne could prevent it.
Boy, they got some intrigue and some trickery going. He's in front of some people, too. My son, blessed by God. Go ahead.
So originated the idea of the Holy Roman Empire.
See, notice now it's Holy Roman Empire. See, it was never called that before the Pope got involved. So now it's not just called the Roman Empire. He says, so originated the idea of what? The Holy Roman Empire. See, that put a religion twist on it, because that's what they kept it. The Roman kept it alive. This documented history. We ain't write it. So originated the idea of the Holy Roman Empire. Who created it?
A creation of the papacy.
A creation of the papacy. The papacy created the Holy Roman Empire. The emperors started the Roman Empire, but the papacy came up with another one, because the Roman Empire basically lost its luster. Go ahead.
Which was to revive the popes and which survived until the 19th century.
See, he said which was to rival the popes and which survived until the 19th century. So now I'm showing you how we get from Daniel the 7th chapter and Daniel the 2nd chapter with this fourth empire. You would think, well, Rome not still ruling. But here, the Pope just took it all the way to the 19th century, didn't he? He done brought it down right to our living room. And it's just a matter of time. They said the 19th century. They don't know. It's getting ready to come back one more strong time. They don't know that. So they stopped at the 19th century. No, it's down to the whatever this is, 21st century, 20th century. I don't know. It's with us. Go ahead.
Charlemagne led no fewer than 53 military expeditions.
That's good. We don't need that. Go to a pictorial history of the Italian people, right under that. A pictorial history of the Italian people. Because now we see that the popes created the Holy Roman Empire by crowning these emperors. See, It's a love-hate relationship, though, between the popes and these emperors. They be fighting, going at odds, but they both need each other. Because the emperor, he wanted to crown himself, but the pope got so much influence. And the pope, since he ain't got nobody but the Swiss guard, he needs somebody to go fight when he needs somebody taken care of. But now, Pictorial History of the Chinese People, page 82. Go ahead.
Otto the Great.
Mm-hmm.
According to a legend, the widow of Lothar of Provence, who had been a claimant to the Italian throne in 951, asked the German King Otto, later called the Great, to come to her rescue against Berengar the second, who did so. Berengar was defeated, and Otto was acclaimed King of Italy, 952.
Uh-huh.
A revolt in Germany and the approach of a large horde of barbarian Magyars soon compelled the new king to return north. Berengar resumed the Italian crown. A few years later, Pope John XII asked Otto to come to Italy to fight again against Berengar.
See, you see what he's doing? Even later on, now that was 800 with Charlie Man, 9 something. This is another pope, but see, it keep going on, because this is the little horn, and he working with these other kings through time. He working with these other kings, and finally, it's going to be him and the last one. It's going to be a tandem, them two. Because since Rome fell, it have not just been an emperor that can solely say, look, I run this. No, you always got somebody right there really saying, look, I run you. That's what the Pope tell these kings to this day. The Pope will come to America, and he came and talked about the president. Say, y'all bogus over here. They'd lay out the red carpet, and he'd tongue lash them in a speech for stuff that they allowing. That show you the authority he got. So it said, Pope John XII asked Otto to come to Italy to fight against Berengar. Go ahead, Victorious.
Victorious once more, Otto sent the prisoner Berengar to Germany and had himself crowned King of Italy in Pavia and Emperor in Rome.
See, he had himself crowned, but still he couldn't get away from that little horn. There's another king on the scene he got to contend with. Go ahead.
962. Charlemagne had been Roman emperor in the West. Otto's reign inaugurates the Holy Roman Empire, founded on the principle one pope, one emperor, which would last in name only for several centuries until 1806.
See, that's basically going along with the 19th century. But see, they don't know about the last revival that got to come up. It's going to be one more pope and one more emperor. People don't realize that. Didn't we read? We getting a little insight into the 5 that are fallen, and one is not yet come. See, that's the one we waiting on. The one that is not yet come. He getting ready to come, and it's going to be him and the little horn. See, this where the 10 horns on the 4th empire come from. It was only 7 left, and these 7 had to come in due time, and the last one going to come, and him and the Pope going to reign supreme. So they say that's when it started, way back in 952, the principle, one Pope, one emperor. See, it ain't just one emperor. Before, in Jesus' time, it wasn't nothing heard of no Pope, right? It was just the Caesar, emperor. The emperor was all in all. But see, later on, the Pope just slid in there. That's why he showed you that little horn that came up. He had to show you this different type of king with eyes like the eyes of a man and a mouth speaking great. He speaks some big stuff even against God. He said, I got power from God. You better listen to me. But now, let's go to Revelation 13, and we're going to try to get done one day. Revelation 13 and verse 11. Revelation 13 and verse 11. Go ahead.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
See, this is directly, now this history book, you can read this on your own. This is a history book. They ain't thinking about the Bible when they writing this stuff. But see, when you understand the Bible, you see how God is calling shots. See, God is not just telling you about spiritual stuff. God is telling you about the world around you, telling you about it before it even take place. So these people, they don't know. They writing what's fulfilled, was already foretold in the Bible. This guy just writing about what he's seen going on. One pope, one emperor. That's what started it. He just recording what he saw going on. But the Bible had already told you it's going to be one pope and one emperor. Notice he said right here, verse 11, he said, I beheld another beast coming up out of the sea. Now here's another beast. It's not a whole nother kingdom, though. We're going to see what this beast represents. We already got the revived Roman Empire with the 7 heads and 10 horns. So this is not a whole nother kingdom coming up like some mixed up brothers try to say, well, this is referring to America. This ain't got nothing to do with America. America is a vestige of the Roman Empire. America ain't been around nothing but a short time. The Roman Empire been around forever. That's the one with the prize. So you got to see beyond your nose. You can't just stop right there. But he said, look, beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb. And he spake as a dragon. Now, what he doing with 2 horns like a lamb? Who is the lamb, first of all? Jesus. And he got 2 horns like a lamb. That means he's trying to look like the lamb. Then we have a lesson showing, too, that it's just the Father and the Son. Those make up the Godhead. There is no Trinity, which that doctrine came out of this church. Mystery Babylon. But we know it's just the Father and the Son. So anyway, they trying to look like the Godhead and look like the Lord, speaking the things of the Lord. Or not speaking the things, fronting like that. So he said, behold, another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb. But he speak as a dragon. So the words coming out is contrary to the lamb. But now, what are these 2 horns? Remember, horns mean king. I'm trying to show you what we just read in this article about 1 pope and 1 emperor. You reading about them right here. 2 horns. Go ahead, verse 12.
And he exercised all the power of the first beast.
See, this is not another kingdom. This is the leadership or the power structure of the first beast. Isn't that what it just said? That's what this beast do, right? It exercised all the power of the first beast, the one we've been reading about that was and is not and yet is. This is the power structure of it. What is it? It's just 2 men. See, which is unheard of because generally it's 1 person running. It's 1 person run something. But see, this is a little different. It's 2 of them. Just like one king even remarked, it was an article talking about the European Union. He said, you know, I don't know how this is going to work. We can't have no 2-headed system. But he was saying the same thing, the way they got it set up now. But that's how it's going to continue to be. He said, look, he exercised all the power of the first beast before him and do what?
And causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
Oh, notice it had a deadly wound that was inflicted on it, and it got healed, which we're going to get to that. But go ahead. Okay. Read verse 13. I just want to throw this in here. Read verse 13. But he exercised all the power of the kingdom. This is the leadership. It's 2 of them, though. Go ahead.
And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
See, he make fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Okay. Oh, I had that in there. Back up to verse 1 then. Back up to verse 1. Go ahead.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
See, this is the empire here that's coming back, Rome. Go ahead.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard.
Notice it's like a leopard, which was the one in Daniel 7 and 6. Go ahead.
And his feet was as the feet of a bear.
That was Daniel 7 and 5. The Medo-Persian Empire. Go ahead. See, this beast is uniting all of that. Got all the characteristics of it. Go ahead.
And his mouth was as the mouth of a lion.
That's Daniel 7 and 4. And it already got 10 horns, which just like the beast had in Daniel 7 and 7. The fourth beast. It got a little bit of all of them putting it together. Go ahead.
And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority.
And it's getting power from Satan. See, this is Rome coming back, though. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast.
See, his deadly wound was healed, and all the world is going to be following this revived kingdom. But he had a deadly wound, it said. He said, I saw one of his heads that was wounded to death. That wound was inflicted in approximately 476 AD. Rome fell as a military might, but it's still been his. So that's why he's called the beast that was and is not and yet is. And now it's about to come back to life big time with a vengeance. His deadly wound is healed and all the world following. Verse 4.
And they worshiped the dragon which gave power unto the beast.
That's who you really worshiping. Go ahead.
And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?
See, we talking about a kingdom, a military might. That's why we've been knowing America going to have to back up. Even with all the military might, when your economy start going down, your army don't mean too much. But go ahead.
Verse 5. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
See, that's the little horn. Same thing. Go ahead.
And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God to blaspheme his name, and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven.
Didn't it say the little horn speak great words? Whose look was more stout than his fellows? But go ahead.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints.
That's important. He making war with the saints. Go ahead.
And to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations.
And he going to have power all over the world. And he got witchcraft power even from Satan the devil. That's who the dragon is. But now skip down to verse 13 and read that again. Let's see some of the witchcraft power. I heard some brothers say this is Ben Franklin who brought electricity. Go ahead.
And he doeth great wonders so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
That show you, boy, when you're looking to go stupid, you can go big time. They don't want to believe that something supernatural going to happen. But the Bible is clearly telling you that. And it won't be the first time something along that order has happened. It's recorded in the Bible. And it wasn't talking about no electricity. So he going to do great wonders so that he make fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of man. And what he going to do by those miracles that he doing? Ain't got nothing to do with no electricity. Go ahead.
14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live.
See, he deceiving people because he got some witchcraft power. And he doing some miracles telling them to worship him. Worship. What other miracle he going to be doing besides bringing fire down? 15.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
See, he making the image come to life, a statue. He going to make it come to life. Just like it started with a great image, it's going to end with an image too. Go ahead.
16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
See, and he forcing people to take this mark which is coming. You're going to have to show your allegiance to him. But now, keep your finger right here right quick. We're going to come back and finish this. I just want to throw this in here. I didn't have it in the lesson. Go to Revelation 19. Since we here all day, we might as well go all out. We don't do this too much. If you fall asleep, you're going to wake up, I'm still going to be talking. You're like, he's still going? What time is it? Revelation 19. We're going to throw this in. We ain't got nothing else to do. It's the Sabbath, and you're going to get high on the word today. Revelation 19, and let's pick it up at verse 19. Revelation 19 and verse 19. I just want to show you again this tandem, which I was trying to cut the lesson, but some things you need to see. 19 and 19. Go ahead.
And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet.
Okay, now wait a minute now. This is when Jesus returned, because he's a stone. We're going to get to him. I'm just throwing him in here early just to show you who had been doing the miracles. Because we just read about this other beast that came up out the sea with two horns, like a lamb, but speaking as a dragon. That's the power structure. It said exercise the power of the government. So, and it said they did miracle, made fire come down, made a statue and all that stuff talk, right? And deceive people with the miracles. Well, again, we know the whole ending is they're going to meet the Lord, and the Lord is going to knock them down. And it's time for him to rule, to take over. He's going to have to fight them to take it. We saw the 10 nations that's going to get a power to this kingdom is going to stand up against the Lamb, right? In Revelation 17. So now, it said the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies, they would gather together to make war against him to sit on the throne and against his army, because Jesus come back with an army of angels, and the saints going to also meet him in the air. And verse 20 said, and the beast was taken. Now pay attention to this. And the beast was taken. Now this is the military man, the emperor man. Remember, one pope, one emperor, right? That's how they started that. And it's going to last to the end, not just to the 19th century. He said, read that verse 20 again.
And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him.
Oh, the beast is the emperor. This ain't the organization now. It's also an individual who running the kingdom. He's called a beast too. He's the emperor man. The beast was taken, and not just him, with him the false prophet. The religious leader, which wrought the miracle. That means he worked the miracle. The false prophet actually doing the miracles. With which what?
With which he deceived them that have received the mark of the beast and them that worship his image.
What's going to happen to these two when Jesus catch up with them? Go ahead.
These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone.
See, these two individuals, they going straight to hell. But we talking two. This two-headed leadership, which the history told us. One pope, one emperor. We saw the popes even crowning the guys, didn't we? Go ahead. We might as well read 21.
And the remnant was slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse.
Now he put them two men, the beast and the false prophet, in the lake of fire, and he killed the rest and fed the fowls their bodies. But now let's go back to where we was at, Revelation 13. We're going to finish this now. So that's what you're reading about when it says another beast coming up out of the earth having two horns like a lamb. He spake. Read verse 11 again just to show you that. Go ahead.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
And who are they? Go ahead.
And he exercised all the power of the first beast.
So this is the power structure of the kingdom, brothers and sisters. Who is it? It's the beast man, the emperor, and the pope, the religious leader. But now go ahead to verse 16 and finish it, wrap it up.
And he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. And that no man might buy or sell.
That means he going to even have control over the economy. That seemed hard to see, but we've been looking at it coming a long time. It's getting closer and closer. Because now they even got some money. Even the Pope got his name on some money. Because they got the euro now. People don't know about that. So they on their way. Matter of fact, recently with the economy bad, they thought all the euro wasn't going to be able to survive. America trying to do them in a little bit. Because they don't like the competition. But America going to find out you ain't going to be able to do nothing with them. And now see, they saying, oh, it's coming back stronger. Because it ain't going nowhere. Because how else could he do this? Where he can control it. He said, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or what?
Or the name of the beast,
Uh-huh.
or the number of his name.
So they control you buying. Just like in Revelation 6, he said they rationing out a measure of wheat for a penny. And he said, see, you hurt not the oil of the wine. They controlling it, and they can starve you out. Go ahead.
18. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. And his number is 666.
See, and that's one of his titles. We're not going to even deal with that right now, but we got handouts on that. But now, go back to the last piece of history we're going to read, and this concerning what we were just talking about, the euro, showing you how this beast is indeed the revived Roman Empire. All this stuff going on in the world is for a reason. God been foretold a long time ago about this kingdom basically almost dying out, but coming back to life. Got 10 nations helping it. This is just a news article from January 2002. And you can see all about it. This is when it first started with this money changeover. Go ahead. Fox News 102. Go ahead.
Europeans test out euros on first day of currency changeover.
Okay. They test out euros on first day of currency changeover. Go ahead. Start at Paris.
Paris, for the first time since the era of the Roman Empire.
Wait a minute. That should strike somebody's attention if you understand the Bible. But most people wouldn't pay no attention to this. You go to church every Sunday, don't have a clue what this means, the significance of it. And they, again, it's like he ain't thinking about the Bible when he write this. He just giving you documented history. Up to date. Comparing it with what they went over the years. He said for the first time since the era of the Roman Empire. First time it's ever happened. See, but what they don't know, this is still the era of the Roman Empire, because we know it's a kingdom that was and is not and yet is. For the first time since the era of the Roman Empire, go ahead.
All of Europe is using one currency.
That's amazing. People don't realize it. Go ahead.
In this case, rainbow-colored banknotes called euros.
And that's the name of it, euros. Go ahead.
After midnight struck and New Year's Day dawned, people across the continent began trying to use the novel money.
Okay, that's good. We're going to skip down to save a little time. Because now, hey, the euro is flourishing. It's competing with the dollar every day now. You know, when it first got introduced, people said, oh, yeah, it probably won't last. Because you got a lot of people that are skeptics, and the only reason I'm not a skeptic because I already know it's in the Word of God. Skip down to verse, to the end, the last paragraph, the 12.
The 12 European Union nations that adopted the euro are parting with currencies that have long history.
See, now, it's a bunch of countries in the European Union. It's 27 in the European Union, but all of them not going for the currency. See, and that go to show you that when it comes to certain things, only so many, because this is amazing that you got to get rid of your individual sovereignty to a degree. That's what you giving up. You know, all these countries had their own dollar. You know, it's like the Americans saying, look, we ain't going to have a dollar no more. We're going to join in with some other people. Like people talk about what is that supposed to be, the miracle or something? But anyway, that ain't going to be important compared to this. If that did happen, which I don't see it, this is what's really important. Because this has been prophesied in the Bible. He said that 12 European nations that adopted the euro are parting with currencies that have long history. So it was only 12 that went along with it. That's why we know when it comes to the military, it's only going to be 10 that go along with it, because it said the 10 horns are 10 kings that have received no powers yet, but give their power and strength to the beast for 1 hour. And it's going to be 10 nations that go to fight against the Lamb. So they got it down to 12 that's dealing with the euro. We know it's just going to be a couple of them that fall out when it comes. They might not even have no big army. it ain't going to matter. It's only going to be 10 as a total. So they partner with long currencies that have long histories, such as what?
Such as Greece's drachma.
Greece's drachma. That's their dollar. That was their dollar. Go ahead.
Which stretches back 2,600 years.
You see how long that go back? 2,600 years. They said, we scrapping it for the euro. And they scrapped it with Greece. They obviously they had some financial trouble. You see they're in trouble now. But they tied into the euro, so they got to help them out now. So that was a smart move by Greece getting rid of the drachma. So this is unheard of since the days of the Roman Empire, and people that should know don't hear nothing like this in church. Now, go to Daniel 2. Daniel 2. I can't believe this lesson is long. Daniel 2 and verse 33. Daniel 2 and verse 33. Baby start snapping. 2 and 33. Go ahead.
His legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay.
Okay, so now we finna show you how what we read about the euro and these countries getting rid of their currencies that have lasted for years, how that was already foretold right here. Now, that was something we just read out of the newspaper recently. And everybody know about the euro by now, hopefully. So, but when he was giving us this prophecy about this dream that Nebuchadnezzar had and he interpreted for him, he talked about it from the head of gold down to the toes of iron and clay. So the Roman Empire started at the legs. And it ended with the feet because it's a package deal. Because it includes the fall and the re-emerging of it. Remember, it's the beast that was and is not and yet is. That's coming up out of the pit. So he said his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. See, we down to the iron and clay. Remember, we read, and we're going to read again, the image going to hit the image, the stone going to hit the image on the feet, right? Go ahead. That's why that's important. That's why these nations in the euro and in the Roman Empire, the European Economic Community, which they had to sign the Treaty of Rome, that's the treaty they signed to get into it. These nations in there are band together. Go ahead, verse 34.
Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out with thy hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces.
Okay, the stone going to hit the image on the feet. Just a reminder, verse 40, go ahead.
And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise.
The fourth kingdom is strong as iron, but we're going to take you all the way to the toes. Go ahead.
And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. See, that's why the toes is showing you the regrouping of these nations coming together. That's why it says it's divided, and it's strong and it's weak. Partly strong and partly weak. Partly broken. Toes of iron and clay. That's a great mixture, isn't it? Iron and clay. Iron is strong, clay is weak, right? But that's what the toes are. Because in the European Union or economic community, the people that sign on with the euro, you got some strong nations and you got some weak nations. But they band together to be one. That's the key. So he said, for as much as outside the iron mixed with merely clay. You read 42? Read 42. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken.
Go ahead, 43.
And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men.
Oh, see, he's telling you, they mingling together. These are 10 independent countries. They mingling together, just like now they done mingle where they don't even have their old currencies no more, right? That's some real mingling, isn't it? He said they're going to mingle themselves with the seed of men. They mingling together, but he going to throw something else in there at you. Go ahead.
But they shall not cleave one to another.
Wait a minute. Go ahead.
Even as iron is not mixed with clay.
What does that mean? They're going to mingle themselves together, but they're not cleaving one to another. Even as iron is not mixed with clay. Something is wrong with that. What do you mean by that? He's telling you they're going to mingle, but they're not going to mix. In other words, Greek got rid of the drachma, didn't it? And they got the euro. That's some mingling, right? But guess what Greek's name is? Greek's name is still Greek. They ain't got rid of that. It ain't no more Greece. It's no more Germany. It ain't like Germany is no more. They just mingling in the euro, but they still Germany. So they not losing their identity totally. So that's why he's telling us they mingling, but they not mixed in. Just like iron can't mix with clay. You can put some iron and some clay in a box, but it wouldn't do no good to try to mush it all together totally. Look, we just put it in the box together. Put it all in the box together. So it's mingled together, but you can't lose the composition of the iron and the clay and make something else out of that, can you? Because the clay, it ain't going to stick. It's just going to fall off. It's still going to be iron and clay in the box. It ain't going to be something new like, I can't say it. I claim. I was trying to make up a new word. But anyway, that's what he's telling you here. Go ahead. What verse you at? 44?
44.
Okay, now we at the toes. This is what we read earlier. Go ahead.
And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed.
See, in the days of what kings? These 10 toes that's mingling but not mixing. That they gave up their national currency. They're going to even give their armies to the man in the end, but they still who they are. They're going to give their power and strength. That's what he said in Revelation 17, verse 14, I think. They're going to give their power to the beast. In the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a king. That's what it always comes to. Go ahead.
And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
And his kingdom going to stand forever. Go ahead, 45.
For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain with thy hands, and that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and interpretation thereof sure. Okay, we're going to come back to Daniel one more time. We just about got it. Go to Luke 21. Luke 21. Because we got to bring the stone in, and that'll be it. We got to show Jesus coming in. Luke 21. This is what some people get confused about this. See, Luke didn't really focus on the end too much like Matthew did in Matthew 24. Luke talked about the end a little bit, then he focused on 70 AD. Then he jumped clear to the end in one verse. And that's what he's going to do right here. Luke 21 and verse 24. He's going to take it to the end because we want to get to the stone coming now and see what he's about. 21 and 24. Go ahead. Luke 21 and 24. Go ahead. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. Now,
this was finalized. Jesus was prophesying of it happened. This was finalized in 70 AD when Titus sacked Jerusalem. But that wasn't all that the question was asked Jesus about, when should these things be, and the sign of his coming and the end of the world. So he told them about all of it, his coming and the end of the world as well. So he said, they shall fall by the edge of the sword. So that's what happened to Israel. We read a little bit even when he was sending Nebuchadnezzar down there. That was the beginning of that. That was basically the beginning of the end. Because he put the Gentiles over it, and it ain't been right since. Israel been scattered. That's why he said the four horns in Zechariah, they have scattered Judah, Jerusalem, and Israel. So Jesus is giving you the last scattering from the promised land for Israel. That's why Israel ain't had no place there since then. The real Israel. He said, they shall fall by the edge of the sword. And shall what?
and shall be led away captive into all nations.
See, that's how you identify Israel. Wherever they at, you find them to this day, they got their ass slaves. Wherever they at, you know they came as slaves. Jesus said they shall be led away captive. They ain't going to migrate nowhere. You're going to be taken on some ships and everywhere else. Led away captive into all nations. And what's going to happen to your capital? Go ahead.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Oh, and Jerusalem going to be ran down by who? The Gentiles. Until what? Until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. See, I told you he gave them a time, right? Didn't we start off reading about the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way, right? Well, Jesus telling you that. So this ain't something just for the Old Testament, is it? Some people say, oh, that's that Old Testament. You reading Jeremiah, Isaiah. Look, do you read Luke? He telling you this. See, so how you going to think you're going to heaven when it's all about him setting his kingdom up after the times of the Gentiles is over? After the times of the Gentiles. He said Israel going to be led away captive because that's what happened. We saw that Nebuchadnezzar took them down, right? Mm-hmm. That's what he was talking about in Zechariah. These are the horns that have scattered Judah, Jerusalem, and it. See, it's all in association with Israel. The Gentiles running it as opposed to Israel being in control as it was before. But he started with Nebuchadnezzar. He said, Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until, not forever, until the times of the Gentiles is fulfilled. Now, he going to jump to that time. He going to jump from 70 AD to the end. Notice what he said. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon.
See, now he went to the end. He went from 70 AD in verse 24 when he said, you're going to be led away captive into all nations, all the way to the end, because he took you to when the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So he went over 2,000 years. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon. Go ahead.
And in the stars.
And
upon the earth, distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring.
That's what's going to be going on when the times of the Gentiles is fulfilled. And what he mean? What he getting ready to do? He getting ready to establish his kingdom. We saw that all over, right? Go ahead.
Men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth.
Oh, we got some terrible stuff to look forward to in this world. Go ahead.
For the powers of heaven shall be shaken.
Then he going to come and tear up the sky. You know, like some of the movies they see, that stuff going to happen. He going to tear the sky up. People going to be running like crazy. But you might as well give up. The sky start rolling, man. You might as well say, wait a minute. Where the heck I'm going to run? Go ahead.
27. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with great power and great glory.
And here he come. Now he left from Israel. He jumped from Israel being scattered out in slavery to the end of the world. Here he come. They see the Son of Man coming in the cloud with power and great glory. What he coming to do, brothers and sisters? Take you to heaven in the rapture like they lied to you? No. We done seen the storyline all over. He coming to establish his kingdom on earth. Go ahead, 28.
And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth near. Draweth nigh.
See, he said when this happens, it's just about over. When you see the sky roll back. So instead of getting scared, you should be like, ooh, I've been waiting on this. Come on, let's get it on. Daniel 7. And we're going to come back to Matthew and Revelation. This is it. Daniel 7. They're going to have about 15 DVDs for this. Daniel 7 and verse 13. Well, we might as well finish now. Let's see if I can add a few more. No, 7 and 13. Go ahead. Daniel 7 and 13. Go ahead.
I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven.
See, Daniel told you about this already. What is he coming with the clouds of heaven for, though, in the end? Go ahead.
And came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him.
What's the purpose? Go ahead.
And there was giving him dominion and glory and a kingdom.
All about a kingdom. But see, he can't rule until the times of the Gentiles is fulfilled, right? They're going to run it until their time is up. And we at the end, you see the world is mad, going crazy. They're going to make the people go to the polls in California to vote Proposition 8, whether or not they want to allow same-sex marriage. And they voted no, and then the judge still going to overturn. What the heck do you go vote for then? You just should have just made a law. That's what you want to do anyway. Well, go ahead.
That all people, nations, and languages to serve him.
Uh-huh.
His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed.
See, he's going to come back, because when he left, he told me he's going to come back. The angel said he's coming the same way. And when he come back, he's going to come with a cloud like we just read in Luke. He said that it was given him dominion, glory, and a kingdom that all people, nations, and languages, we're talking right here on the earth, people, nation, languages, should serve him. Because he's taken over from this Gentile dynasty, the last one being Rome, the last ruler. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. That's what people need to understand. We're not talking about just going to heaven and floating around. We're talking about God establishing a government, a kingdom on the earth. Well, Matthew 25. Let's make sure. Matthew 25, 31. Go ahead.
When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him.
Now, we just read about him coming. Both places. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him. Go ahead.
Then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory.
That's what he's coming to do, not take you off somewhere else. He coming in his glory then to sit on the throne of his glory. Go ahead.
And before him shall be gathered all nations.
Uh-huh.
And he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats.
Uh-huh.
And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on his left.
Uh-huh.
Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world.
See, he's going to judge everybody at that time. He's going to separate the sheep from the goats. He's going to put the goats on the left hand and the sheep on the right. And the ones on the right that's been doing his will, that's where we want to be at. He's going to say, Come, ye blessed of my Father. Not go to heaven, right? Inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. This has been planned from day one. But he set it up and gave man his time to rule. Last, he gave the Gentiles their time. And when their time is up, he's going to rule. One more place. Let's see what he's doing again. Revelation 11. And it's only going to take one verse to sum it up. Revelation 11. And verse 15. Revelation 11 and one verse, verse 15. Okay, you can read it.
And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, The kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever.
See, but we just saw the whole scenario on how this is going to go down. God's kingdom is going to come after the Gentiles' time is up. And when his time is up, the angels are going to blow the trumpet. And you're going to hear voices in heaven saying the kingdoms of this world, not up in heaven, the kingdoms right down here on earth of this world are become the kingdom of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever. Hope you got some understanding in Jesus' name.